Welcome to the Jets Afterburners podcast. New York Jets fan 16, Liam right there. And finally, we get the king of Jets talk. Dude never sleeps and is always in high octane gear. The man himself, Jake Asman. Thank you for coming on, man.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate the kind words, guys. I'm glad we could make this happen before the draft. I was watching when you guys were doing a show a few weeks ago and Beast called in, and that was hilarious. So glad we made this happen.
He has tried to call in many times, Jake, many times. We're just putting him on a little bit of a timeout. So he's not going to be coming on tonight unless you want him to. That's completely up to you.
That's up to you guys, man. I mean, I got to regulate Beast when he's on my show. So you guys handle that however you want.
You know the struggle.
I do. My finger's always on the button just to make sure.
Goodness. I got calluses already there.
Yep.
Crazy.
Johnny, what did I do?
Well, we did do it. We got him. So listen, we have a question here. This is it has not been a fun 2 years. Completely out of the box. Like we all thought at least playoffs. We all thought AFC championship game. We all thought the best case scenario. It's like we forgot that we were Jets fans. And then the worst happened. What the hell? Number one. And let's go through those 2 years. What went the emotions through a Jets fan and the main guy of sports talk here you represent us always, Jake, and you always represent us in a good light. How difficult was that to just kind of relay and project still some sort of positivity? And then we see Rodgers goes down and then last year happens.
Yeah, I would say this past year was more difficult than Rodgers' first year because, well, it was heartbreaking. And I was there at the home opener. It's the worst moment I've ever witnessed as a sports fan. It at least like provided the built-in excuse of like, hey, like this happened, but you know what? Like, look at the team. They still won 7 games. So as difficult as that was, it wasn't as painful as this past year when if I would have told any Jet fan, you know, Aaron Rodgers is going to play 17 games, bet your life on it. Is this team 5-12 or 12-5? You would be nuts if you said 5-12. So I just always go back to that he ended up playing 17 games. All we said a year ago was if he is healthy, this team's going to be good. It was always that caveat all offseason. And while he obviously was hurt, he was banged up. He started 17 games and threw 28 touchdowns and then won 5 games. So it's inexplicable. And, you know, I've used this a lot on my show. I really think these last 2 years have done irreparable damage to the fan base. I think there's a overwhelmingly negative tone from Jet fans. And typically, you know, the offseason's our time to shine. A new regime brings you some hope and excitement. And while there are certainly some people that are excited about Aaron Glenn, it's not what it has been in the past when the Jets have hired new coaches or GMs. So I really think the damage of the last 2 years is we're feeling at this offseason. Hopefully they can get off to a good start in 2025 and start to get people to buy back in.
Now, do you think that the 5-12 offseason last year, is that mainly because of coaching, or what do you think was like the main attribute to that?
I think it was a lot of things. I mean, the general manager dismantled the defensive line. The head coach got fired, you know, 5 games into the season when the team was 2-3. Head coach wasn't great to begin with. And if he was only going to get 5 games, there's an argument to be made. Well, shouldn't you have just cleaned house at the end of the 2023 season? Maybe Mike Vrabel's coaching this team this past year, and they're not 5 wins with him. I promise you that. Greg Zuerlein cost him anywhere from 2 to 3 games. If he was just the version he was the previous 2 years, who knows? You had some crazy injuries, right? You lose Jermaine Johnson week 2, CJ Mosley week 2. The defense just wasn't the same. It was a lot of things, but I think the biggest issue was coaching for sure. If I had to pick one, I
Yeah.
think they were the worst coach team in the league once they fired Saleh. They weren't great coach with Saleh. They didn't have a coach with Obrick, and it's not all Obrick's fault, but he wasn't ready to be a head coach. He certainly wasn't ready to be the head coach and still be the defensive play caller. So that was a huge issue.
And you had said the irreparable damage, right? And we keep going back to when Darnold was drafted. We're all buying these jerseys and whatnot, and we're like, all right, first year, it kind of looked good towards the end, like we finally got him. Then the whole helmet change and the logo and all that stuff and Gase, and that went south. And then it took off again with Zach Wilson. We're buying the jerseys. We're happy, this and that. That faltered. Aaron Rodgers. And now we have a guy named Justin Fields, right? We got a guy that we're looking at him, and this has got to be a Jets thing, right? We're looking at the Minnesota Vikings. We're like, all right, you know what? Sam Darnold finally went into a situation and became a Pro Bowl quarterback. Now he's an actual starter right now. And Geno Smith, same thing. Can it happen to the Jets? Can it finally happen where the Jets catch lightning in a bottle? And with Justin Fields being paired up again with Garrett Wilson, do you see a world where this season, Jake, where nobody sees it, we're competitive and we may make a playoff push?
I don't see it right now. I mean, it could happen. They need to nail basically their first 3 picks in the draft for sure, because their free agent strategy is basically we're going to put all our stock in the draft. We're not going to spend a lot of money. We'll get comp picks and we'll do it that way. They better be right, because I've been very underwhelmed with the offseason moves. I like the Field signing. I wanted them to keep Rodgers for another year. I think we got worse at quarterback, despite what anyone will say. I mean, Fields has upside. He's young. He's 26. He's an elite runner. But until proven otherwise, he's kind of like a game manager that can run a little bit. Like I got to see more from him. The coaching is a giant unknown, right? Tanner Engstrand is probably the most important coach on the staff, because he's got to design a real offense around what Fields does well. So look, if they were going to move on from Aaron, my thing was at least Fields gives you that hope to do what Darnold did or what Baker Mayfield has done in Tampa. So I'm glad they went that direction. That said, it's probably only like a 20-25% chance Justin Fields is the guy long term, but that's better than Carson Wentz or Kirk Cousins or Marcus Mariota, these other guys that were floated out there that you already know there's no chance of them being the guy. So you're just wasting the year. So we'll see with Fields. I mean, as a Jet fan, you hope, you want to be cautiously optimistic, but I've been burnt like you guys have been so many times. I just, show me, win games. I'll be the most positive guy again if this team wins games, but I'm not buying the horse crap anymore. I'm tired of it. Like this team has been a disgrace, and until they start winning games, I'm not going to be waving the pom-poms anymore.
Yeah, no, I'm the exact same way. I wonder what's more Jets. The Jets making Aaron Rodgers bad, or them somehow making Justin Fields good? It's like,
yeah, I mean, the Jets don't exactly have a sterling reputation of quarterback development. Now it's a brand new staff, so we'll see. But to me, it goes back to Engstrand. Like, is he Ben Johnson, or was he just a guy that was, getting the coffee for Ben Johnson? Like Adam Gase didn't make Peyton Manning, like what's the deal with Tanner Engstrand? So we'll see. They have talent on offense. They definitely need more weapons, but not a bad place to start when you got Garrett, you got Brees, you got 4 of your 5 offensive line starters in place. You have Braylon Allen and Isaiah Davis. Like, they could have added to it in free agency. They could have kept, Rodgers, because that would have meant you have Devontae, but they chose to go down this path. And let's see if they have a real plan for what they want this offense to look like with Justin Fields as the quarterback.
we have a question from your guy, Johnny Boy. Johnny Boy.
Of course.
Jake, do you believe the running game will be used this time around?
I mean, it has to be, right? I mean, they had the least amount of rushing attempts in the NFL this past year. They should probably have the most in the NFL this year. They should run the crap out of the ball. And to me, it was the scheme was a problem. Like, the offensive line coach is the run game coordinator, and like everyone knows Keith Carter isn't good besides, I guess, Robert Saleh, who hired him. So I just feel like they were so poorly coached last year. I talked to Brian Baldinger about this on the show, and he just said when you watch it on film, just like fundamental, like rudimentary blocks they couldn't do. And like that's why you have no balance in your offense, and it was a nightmare, man. It really was. They had way too much talent to be that bad on offense.
So I have a follow-up question to that, right? Like, we don't know what Tanner Engstrand is going to bring, but we know that he was back up there to Ben Johnson. What do you foresee this offense looking like? Is it run heavy, oriented, option quarterback type of thing where it's all predicated on Brees Hall and Garrett Wilson? Or is it going to be somewhere where it's going to be kind of a surprise in your face? You don't know what to expect. Dynamic offense.
To me, ground control or ball control, run the football, move the sticks, a la Rex in 09 to an extent.
Yep.
They got to get some guys, though, that can catch the football. Like, as much as we all love the idea of, we're just going to run the ball. It's like, it's the NFL in 2025. You got to be able to throw at some point here. So I'm very concerned because right now, to me, it's Garrett Wilson and nobody else that Fields is throwing the football to.
Now, with that being said, the rumor has been floated out there. Do you see the possibility of them trading for Chris Olave, really getting that Ohio State band back together?
I don't, because I don't think that's coming from anywhere that's like reputable. Like who says Chris Olave is available? Like, I haven't seen any legitimate.
Jets fan.
Yeah, like it's like, oh, he went to Ohio State. He tweeted fire emojis after the Jets signed Fields. Like, cool. That doesn't mean he's available in a trade. I mean, sure, call the Saints, find out what it would take if he's available. I'd be interested, but I don't think he's getting dealt. Why would they trade him?
What do you think it would take to get him, just hypothetically?
I mean, DK Metcalf went for a second, so I think it probably would start there.
Yeah, that's a good point.
So now we have free agent wide receivers out there, and Stephon Diggs, Amari Cooper. And there's now whirlwinds that Stephon Diggs is a possibility. Would you be okay with any of those two opposite of Garrett?
Definitely. I mean, I don't think it cost you more than a 1-year deal. I mean, they have to add someone that could at least give you the illusion that they have a number 2 wide receiver. And I get it. You can do it in the draft. The Jets have not hit on a second-round wide receiver since Wesley Walker. If you look at just the last 15 years of rooting for this god-awful football team, you have Devin Smith, Stephen Hill, Elijah Moore. I mean, just keep going down the list. When was the last time the Jets drafted a skill position player, pass catcher, on day 2 or day 3 that was truly an impactful player? Like, you can't find anyone. I mean, it's insane. You can't name anyone. 3rd round, they try Malachi Corley this past year. He can't play until proven otherwise. Like, it's just, I think it's very risky to go into that. And I get it. Muji's new. Glenn is new. They got to do their thing. I think it's very risky to just go into the draft and say, all right, we might take Warren at 7 or take Membu at 7 or Mason Graham at 7. But then don't worry. We're going to get weapons for Fields with pick 42 and pick 73 and just bank on that. They have to sign a legitimate wide receiver. I'd take Diggs. I'd take Cooper for sure. I would be interested in Tyler Lockett, who's still out there. They got to add a veteran to that room.
Now, Armand has a question here. Jake, who are your top 5 players that you'd be good with the Jets taking in the 1st round?
Ooh. Well, obviously, if, Travis Hunter or Abdul Carter make it, no brainer. Cam Ward, no brainer. I don't think he'll be there. I am very high on Warren right now. I like Tyler Warren a lot. I like Armin Membu. So I would probably say those would be my top 2. I really prefer a trade out. I know it's easy to say trade out, trade back. Everyone does these draft simulators and there's all these trades being offered, and it's just not reality. So I would take extra picks. That'd be my first preference. And then as far as the other players, to me, realistic wise, I think it's probably Warren. I think it's Membu. I think Mason Graham's in play. And then I think somehow if, Abdul Carter or, Travis Hunter starts to fall, maybe they're in play, but I don't think they make it to 7. That'd be really surprising.
So it's just
Warren's really interesting too. Sorry, Dan. Warren's really interesting too, because the tight end group really became a weakness, these last couple of days, especially with the loss of Conklin.
100%. Yeah. I mean, once again, what did he sign for, like $3 million? Like, we couldn't bring Tyler Conklin back for 1 year, $3 million, and just have a guy. So we just know we have at least one veteran who's not incompetent there. But they're doing it the Muji way. So I hope it works.
Piggybacking off of that, right? It just seems like the Jets are cleaning house. They're getting their guys, as is any new management that comes in and whatnot. Again, CJ's gone, Rodgers, Devontae, Reddick. The list goes on and on. The only one that's still here is Lazard, I think by default, because we don't have someone to kind of supplant him just as yet. Now, I'm going to throw a name out there. You might think I'm crazy, but I don't know. Again, I remember when Bill Parcells took over, The dude traded away Hugh Douglas. He was a fan favorite. Loved Hugh Douglas. What if, again, could Quinnen be on the block too? He's getting paid a lot of money right now. A lot. Could it be that he's harboring so much of that cap where they could trade him away for maybe a 1 or a 2, whatever the case is, and probably get back maybe draft picks or maybe another big time player in exchange? Do you see a world that possibly Quinnen's not on this team?
I think it wouldn't be him. It might be Quincy, because Quincy's 29 and going into the last year of his deal, and they just paid Sherwood. So are they going to extend Quincy or just let him hit the market after this year? Like that to me would be the guy to watch if you're talking about like a fan favorite who could be traded just because of the contractual stuff and position. To me, Quinnen's on this team. They need him. Like he's. I think Glenn's going to appreciate what Quinnen does. I think the goal is to try and get someone to play next to Quinnen that could stop the damn run, so they can get back to being a really effective defensive line. So I personally would be very surprised if they traded Quinnen Williams.
Yeah, that'd be an interesting one. Johnny actually says if you lose Q, you lose Quincy. I don't think that's necessarily the case. I mean, I'm sure they would like to be together, but no one says that they have to. We have a question for the panel by Johnny Boy. Do you guys believe that our pillar players are already our vets? And if no, what makes a vet? Yeah, I mean,
they're in year 4, so I'd say they're veterans.
Yeah, I mean, they're really in their prime, like most of our star players are 24, 25, somewhere in there. So I'd say so.
Sauce, Garrett, Jermaine, Brees, they're going into their 4th year as Jets.
Do you extend them right now? Sauce and Garrett? How do you make this work?
They already dropped the ball, in my opinion, not extending Sauce, because Stingley got signed for an extra $5 million a year. And my whole thing, and I've been saying it for months on the show, was do it before because I did radio in Houston for 6 years, so I knew that extension was coming, from my Houston contacts. And I'm like, get out in front of it, because Stingley's going to reset the market. Sauce has been better. You could save some, but at this point, I don't think there's a rush to extend Sauce. I think they're probably going to wait till after the draft, let them go through the offseason program. I mean, Glenn's never seen them practice before, so they could wait. Garrett, to me, is the more difficult contract to do, because I think he's a top 10 receiver, but statistically, he doesn't have maybe like top 10 numbers necessarily, but he could easily say, well, that's because I've had 8 different quarterbacks, mostly terrible ones, throwing the ball to me. If I had Joe Burrow, I'd put up numbers that are big time as well. So I think both guys get deals. I just wonder what the timeline would be for each of them.
You said top 10. It's actually top 45 according to Twitter.
Yeah, so. God.
But with that being said, do you see Q having not Q? I'm sorry, reading the comment here. Do you see Sauce having a bounce back year? Especially under Aaron Glenn. It seems like, because he did have a down year, and his year was still pretty good. It's just the interceptions aren't there. Like that's the big shiny point of their job, but like his coverage is pretty good. I mean, he gets a little handsy from time to time, but do you see somebody like Aaron Glenn, a former corner, really elevating Sauce's game to the next level?
I do. I think that you're going to see Sauce get back to being what he was his first 2 years. And I also think he's going to be able to hopefully be more of a ball hawk with Aaron Glenn coaching him up. At least that's got to be the hope. Sauce, to me, cares. He takes it seriously. I think he's a really good leader. He's a good guy. I think he's going to bounce back and have a big time season. That's just my feeling on him. And like, I just think people need to go back and remember just how dominant he was his first 2 years. Like, sure, he didn't get a lot of interceptions, but you know what? Prime Revis didn't either, because they didn't throw to him. And that was the case for Sauce for a lot of those first 2 years. So I'm confident in Sauce reverting back to being what he was his first 2 years. But yeah, I agree with you, Liam. People talk about this past year like he was trash. He was Kyle Wilson out there. He wasn't. He wasn't Sauce of the first 2 years. He's still, if you look at like every category, was like a top 8 corner in the league.
Right.
Now, staying on defense, right? As a Jet fan, we predicate ourselves on solid defense, right? With the sack exchange and whatnot, then Rex's defense, Herm's defense. Do you see Aaron Glenn being more aggressive with Steve Wilks as well, kind of brainstorming together? I know that Aaron Glenn had said, I'm leaving that side alone with whatnot. I just feel like Aaron Glenn is coming off from Sean Payton, Bill Parcells, those greats and whatnot, even Dan Campbell. He's going to have some input in there. He's not going to be like a Salah, in my opinion. Do you see the Jets blitzing a lot more in his tenure?
I think so. I mean, you look at their history for Wilkes and Glenn, they both blitzed a lot more than Salah and Obrick did. So to me, that would make sense. I mean, I don't know why you wouldn't blitz more, especially because if you look at like Jamie and Sherwood and how they could potentially use him, he's really fast. So you could design blitz packages with him and Quincy sending the house and how quick they can get home. You got Jermaine coming back. You got McDonald. Yeah, I mean, to me, they better blitz a lot more. They got to be more opportunistic and force turnovers. And to me, you do that by sending a blitz. And what's ironic is a couple times in the Saleh era, they did blitz. It worked. The Sauce Gardner's corner blitz against the Dolphins in 2022 that knocked Teddy Bridgewater out of the game. That led to a safety. That was huge. The Quincy Williams linebacker blitz that they sent against Russell Wilson in Denver in 2023 led to a strip sack fumble recovery by, I think it was Brandon Eccles, that he scooped and scored on. Like, they should be blitzing a lot more. And I hope Glenn and Wilkes do that.
Vinny has a question here. Jake, in your opinion, should the Jets issue a playoff mandate to Aaron Glenn? I would say by year 3. I mean, it seems like they've kind of already been doing that. I mean, that's what Saleh was 3.5, I guess.
I don't know if they need to like say, hey, you better make the playoffs by year 3, but I mean, I'll tell you what, if they miss the playoffs in the first 2, like, it better say it. I think it would be pretty clear. I mean, at some point, I would like it to be known they need to make the playoffs. But I feel like Woody, without saying it, essentially said that the Saleh and Douglas is past year. And I mean, that was the vibe we got. And then he fired the coach 5 games in. So, I mean, that ended up being true. I think Glenn and Muji are going to get at least 2 years before you have to worry about anything. But yeah, everyone talks about, oh, it takes time, new regime. Look at the Lions. The Lions were 9-8 at the end of year 2. The Jets haven't won more than 7 games in a decade. This team is way more talented than the Lions team that Glenn inherited when Dan Campbell brought him to Detroit. Win games, man. Saleh won 4 games his first year. This team should win 8 or 9 games this year in my mind. That should be the goal. Like, have a winning season. I'm saying you to go to the playoffs, but like, can you get us 9-8? Like, even bad teams can find a way to accidentally go 9-8. The Giants with Daniel Jones were 9-7-1 and won a playoff game. Like, every team that picked in the top 5 of that great 2022 Jets draft class has not only made the playoffs, but won at least 1 playoff game since then. Jacksonville, Detroit, Houston's won 2 playoff games, and obviously the Jets have done nothing. The Giants won the Viking playoff game. Like, when do we get to at least have a winning season? Like, when? I'm tired of it, man. I'm fired up. I can't do it anymore.
I think that's what gives us that optimism, right? Like, you see the Commanders last year, rookie quarterback, they go so deep into the playoffs. The Texans, another team, CJ Stroud's first year, so competitive. And you see now Justin Fields maybe coming into his own. The reason why I see that is because, again, he was 4-2, and correct me if I'm wrong, Mike Tomlin benched him. Could that be where a head coach that has been there, done that, sees a young player, sees the game getting to him, it's getting to his head where he benches him, and maybe it kind of taught him a lesson of stay even keel, play at a high level, bring up your team, don't think that you're more than the franchise. Could that have been the reason why he got benched?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what the real thing is. Like, when you go back and watch the film, there were definitely plays where Fields maybe could have ripped it and he didn't. But also how much of it was, he was the backup. So he's trying to be conservative and not turn it over because he knew he had a team where you play good defense, don't turn it over. A Mike Tomlin coach team's going to not beat itself, and you're going to win games. So we'll see. I mean, Fields is an elite runner. He's not a great processor when you watch it. I mean, we had a film guy on my show, Andrew Fialco from JetX, show a lot of examples of that. So, I mean, can you get better at processing? I mean, I suppose you can. I think it depends on your coaching. So we'll see what, once again, Tanner Engstrand is, and Charles London, who's been a running back coach, but is now the quarterback coach of the team. Like, I hope it works. I really do.
What are your thoughts on that? Like the running back coach becoming the quarterback coach. I think we had like a tight end coach become a line coach now too. Does it concern you that these coaches are like switching positions as coaches?
It's pretty common. If you look at like most of these guys can like cross coach different spots, but to be fair, the O-line coach was a tight ends coach last year. He's only been an assistant offensive line coach. This is his first opportunity to be an O-line coach. The quarterback coach was a running backs coach for most of his career. The play caller has never called plays before at the NFL level. You got a first-time head coach, first-time GM, it's just tough for me to feel like, yep, we're headed in the right. Like I got to see it. You know what I mean? That's why I like everything I wanted the Jets to do. They've done the opposite this offseason. So, all right, F it. I hope you guguys are right because I'm a Jet fan first and foremost.
What could go wrong?
Right. Jake, let me paint a horrible picture for you. I'm going to be a Picasso here. All right. What do you think? So,
Can it get worse?
well, I don't know. With what I'm about to propose, I don't know. So last year, the Atlanta Falcons, they signed Kirk Cousins. Fan base, they're happy, this and that. All of a sudden, 8th overall, they shocked the world and they selected Michael Penix. Let's say the Jets keep going. Number 1, number 2. The first 2 quarterbacks are out, Shador and Cam. At 7, what if they shock the entire world and they select Jackson Dart? What would go through your head? What is your emotions in that point of realism in fantasy world?
I just hold the franchise, man. I just like really like that. That'd be my reaction. He better be going to the Hall of Fame, otherwise I'm done. You know what I mean? I can't fathom that. This guy has taken 30 career snaps from under center. You just gave Justin Fields 30 million guaranteed. Everyone is saying how shit this, excuse my language, how bad the quarterback class is. And this guy's stock is going to rise so far up when games aren't being played at all to be the 7th pick in the draft. Like, to me, it'd be hard to stomach if that's what happens here. It would be really tough.
I'm just going to have a player comparison. I got to be honest. Jackson Dart reminds me so much of JP Losman.
Yeah.
So much. I look at that. I remember when the Bills selected him out of Tulane. You see all the highlights, how he's running, throwing, gun for an arm. And it just pushed the Bills back 5 years until they went back into it and got EJ Manuel. But finally, they got their guy in Josh Allen. At what point will the Jets get to that point? Do you feel like it's next year?
It kind of has to be, right? I mean, Glenn and Muji get this draft and next year's draft to get their long-term quarterback, unless they like break the playoff streak this year, and then that they'll automatically get some more time. But look, if we're just being realistically, it's not going to be Fields because just math is going to tell you that it's probably not going to be him being the guy. And you look around the league, 32 of the previous 58 Super Bowl winning quarterbacks were drafted in the first round. Like Hurts this past year was an anomaly as a 2nd round pick, but only 3 QBs drafted in the 2nd round have ever won a Super Bowl. And if you basically exclude Joe Montana, only 3 quarterbacks drafted in the 3rd round have won a Super Bowl. Like Jeff Hostetler, who was basically a backup for the Giants until he had to take over in 1990, Russell Wilson with the Seahawks, and Nick Foles, who kind of had that like miracle run out of nowhere. Like chances are the Jets are going to need to take a quarterback in round 1. Doesn't feel like this is the year to do it. And where they're drafting at 7 doesn't make sense. So if it doesn't work with Fields, I fully expect them to take someone in 2026 in round 1, just by looking at it from that standpoint.
Right. I'm going to take that paintbrush from Dan and I'm going to hand it to you, Jake. And I'm going to give you the opportunity to paint a very positive picture. I know it's early, but sitting here on March 24th, what do you expect Justin Fields' stats to be by the end of the year?
You know what? I haven't even thought of that. Can he throw 20 touchdowns and less than 10 interceptions and rush for 700 yards and have is 10 rushing touchdowns too optimistic? So, I mean, that feels like a lot. I don't know. Maybe 18 touchdowns and 7 rushing touchdowns. I mean, I'll tell you what, he's not throwing 28 that Rodgers threw, but he's a great runner. So they got to play to their strengths. To me, with Fields, it's not even about like the touchdown stats, like throwing or rushing, because I do think like Brees in a contract year should have a huge season. Braylon Allen could get a lot of goal line carries potentially. I would like to see Fields complete 64% of his passes. He's gotten better every year there and be dynamic as a runner. It's tough to really project the stats because I mean, this is the guy that's never. Yeah, I don't know who he's throwing to, and I don't know what Angstrand is as a play caller, and this is the guy that's never thrown for 3,000 yards passing in the season. So it's kind of tough to project what that looks like with everything so new here with the Jets.
Right.
Did the secondary get better or worse with
Worse.
Stevens?
Worse.
And yeah,
I
much
mean,
worse.
You got to tell me Brandon Stevens is better than DJ Reed? Like, no way. Like, Cisco, I like the signing, but I only liked it until I saw what Javon Holland got. And I'm like, we couldn't have just done that. That wasn't crazy money. And the guy's a good player, knows the division. I don't know. I like the fact he's a Jet fan. He's from Long Island. He's about 15 minutes from where I grew up. So I'm rooting for him, but I don't know. I don't think they got better in the secondary at all when you lose DJ Reed and you replace him with a guy that Ravens fans were celebrating that they let him go. I hate being this negative, by the way. Like I'm not.
It's all right.
I used to not be like this at all. That's what's so sad.
We used to all not be like this, but if sitting here last year at this time, we were pumped up and I was saying, I'm not saying 17-0, but I'm not afraid of I'm not afraid of one single opponent on that schedule. Dan remembers, but it is what it is. It's a new era for the New York Jets. Blind faith is really all we have. If you want to say Woody's doing something he's never done before, we hired a, Rick Spielman, for whatever that's worth. Aaron Glenn, if it's one thing to hang my hat on, it's he's come up the right way. He was a former player. He saw the worst of the worst with the New York Jets, the best of not the best of that. He didn't see the Super Bowl, but the best record they've ever had. Came up as a scout. He saw the worst with the Detroit Lions and then the best with them. The same, a really good coach in Sean Payton. So does that give you any faith? Like what is your confidence level in Aaron Glenn?
I didn't want a first timer, so this is not me being like anti Aaron Glenn. I really wanted someone that's been a head coach before because this market can eat you alive and learning on the job is hard. That said, if they were going to hire a first time head coach, I do like the fact, to your point, Liam, this is the guy that was here as both a player and a scout, learned from Parcells, was coached by 3 or 4 different Jet head coaches. If you think about it, right? I mean, he starts off with Pete Carroll, then he has Kotite, then he has Parcells. Then he has Groh. Actually, I guess it's 5 coaches. Then he had Herm. But he experienced the lows of the lows and then the highs of the highs. And I love that he brought up that 98 AFC Championship game in his presser. Like, I like Aaron Glenn. I actually got to talk with him briefly at the Combine back in February. Like, I'm rooting for him. I have doubts with any first timer. Like, I got to see it. But if there's ever been a guy that seemingly is built to handle what this is, it's him. So hopefully it works, because if it doesn't, like, where do you go from here if it doesn't work,
Well, Andy has a chip on his shoulder too, but the if you remember, the fake spike was against him.
Right.
The good thing is that he bleeds green, man. And Vrabel over there with the Pats, he's all Pats. Where we all knew that, like, as much as I wanted him as a head coach, I just felt like he would always have that soft spot for the New England Patriots. I don't like that. So now we got Aaron Glenn there. To your point, Liam, he remembers all the ups, all the lows. Come on, let's be honest. 96, it was one of the worst years. 1-15, coming off a 3-13 record with the Kotite era. And then in 1 year, Jake, you remember this, man. In 1 year, man, 97, 9-7 happened. 1 game short of going into the playoffs. And then 98 occurred. It happened so fast. And I just see Aaron Glenn maybe saying, all right, you know what? This is chemistry right here. I need a veteran quarterback with a chip on his shoulder. Because if you think about it, look at his pedigree. Coming with the Jets, Vinny Testaverde, a complete bust, right? A first overall pick with Tampa Bay, bust. Then he goes to New Orleans. Drew Brees, not that he was a bust, but he came from San Diego. And then over here with Detroit, Jared Goff, first overall pick. I think this was part of the plan. I don't really think that they're going to draft a young quarterback. I think Aaron Glenn has this kind of plan in mind where Mooj kind of agrees, where they need that quarterback presence, veteran-wise, where they can make something special happen. Do you see that this year going forward, even if we lose games, whatever the case is, we are going to be at least competitive?
They were competitive this past year is my thing, right? Like, they led the NFL in blown fourth quarter leads. Like, other than like Arizona, the second Buffalo game, like that's what made this year so painful too. They weren't really getting blown out. like they should be competitive. There's talent on this team. I have to imagine they'll get better kicking this year, so that should help. I have to imagine that the coaching will be better this year. It's hard to be worse. I mean, especially post Salah getting fired and Obrick doing whatever that was.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, they should be competitive, but there's a difference in being competitive and finishing with 6 wins. Like, I want to go 9-8. I want to have a winning year. Like once again, they haven't won more than 7 games in a season in a decade. Like that is nearly impossible to do in today's NFL, especially now with an extra game.
Yeah. You had just mentioned the kicking. The Tennessee Titans just moved on from Nick Folk. Do you see a situation where he comes back to the Jets?
I would be interested. I have to look at Nick Folk's year. Did he have a good season this past year? But I'll take him over Zerline. That's for sure.
How is Zerline still on the team? I don't understand this. He cost the season. He cost Aaron Rodgers his job. That's Greg. How is he here? And that's what's puzzling to me. You're looking at Aaron Glenn here, Mooj and whatnot. They're cleaning house. How do you not clean that part of the department?
I don't know, man. I don't think Zerline's going to be on this team, but I'm shocked. Maybe you know what though? I take that back. Maybe they'll have him compete for. He's already under contract. I don't think they save any money by cutting him. So it's like we already owe him the money. What if we just keep him? We're going to bring in competition, and we're going to have a competition this summer because we're not just handing him the job. And honestly, Austin Seibert was better than Greg Zerline over the summer, and they let him go to the commies, and he's unbelievable. Bring someone else in, duke it out. May the best kicker win, but I would be very nervous if Zerline wins that. He's the guy going into the year.
I liked Carlson too, personally. I'm a Carlson fan.
Hey, you know what? If he cannot be a liability, that's a huge improvement.
I don't want any more Packers. I'm freaking done with Packers, ex-Packers coming here, Randall Cobb and all that. That's it. We tried it, but now I think the Jets need to build from the inside out, and I think they're doing a very good job right now. Good job, not very good, just a good job, just building the right way. That's how I look at it right now. Even though these are low-key signings and whatnot, they're all going to show up in the OTAs, even if it's not mandatory. I think that's one of the big parts of why they let go of Aaron Rodgers. I think maybe he may have set up the wrong precedent not showing up there, even though he has every right not to show up. He's a freaking Hall of Famer. But I could understand why they went in the direction that they went to. Did you agree with that, Jake?
Just in general, moving off from Rodgers?
Yes.
Or I would have kept him for another year. I think when you look at if they were picking second in the draft, to me, you move on. You're taking a quarterback, fine. They're picking 7th, and all the options stink. And it doesn't alarm any Jet fan that Mike Tomlin, who's going to the Hall of Fame, is moving on from Fields and wants to bring in Aaron Rodgers. Like, that doesn't tell you, hey, maybe Mike Tomlin looked at the tape, looked at what the Jet dysfunction was, and said, you know what? He can come here. We're going to coach it the right way, and we're going to win a lot of games with him. Like, I don't know. Like, to me, it wasn't even just about keeping Rodgers. It was also, well, if you get rid of Rodgers, DeMonte's not going to be here. And then now you have a huge hole there, too. So, yeah, I mean, look, I understand why they're doing it. I do. My frustration with those saying they had to get rid of Rodgers, they only won 5 games. It's like, should we get rid of Sauce Gardner and Garrett Wilson and Quinn Williams and all these guys, too, that also were on a 5-win team? Because you can't tell me that they won 7 with Zach Wilson. No, they didn't. Zach Wilson and Tim Boyle, Trevor Siemian won 7. Zach only got credit for 5 of the wins. If you can't tell me that Zach's better than Aaron Rodgers, like, that just to me is it's lazy. Like, how many times did Rodgers put him in position to win and Zerline missed a kick that would have won them the game? Or Rodgers put him in position to win and, you know, the defense is letting Kayshon Boutte and Jacoby Brissett stick it up there, you know what, in Foxborough, or Anthony Richardson at the end of the Colt game at MetLife, or Tua when they're up 8, defense allows them to go down the field, get the 2-point conversion, win the coin toss in overtime, and then immediately score, and the Jets never get the ball back. And Rodgers threw for like 330 that day and was playing really well. Like, you know, I get very frustrated when he gets all the blame when he just put up the best season a Jet quarterback's had in a decade. Like, people could deny that, but the facts are the facts. We saw it.
Now, what do you think the reason is that they got rid of Rodgers? I mean, Diana Rossini saying it's McAfee and it's this and it's that. Like, I don't believe that. What do you think the real reason was? Because I'm in the same boat as you. I personally would have kept Rodgers for another year.
Well, I think Woody had a lot to do with it. I think it was his preference to move on. I don't think their relationship was great. And So I think that's one. I also think, like, to me, it was about just reset. We're going to do it our way. We're going to erase the stench of that previous regime. And Rodgers is the face of that. And it's not all his
Yeah.
fault, but he's one of the most famous athletes on the planet. So that's just what comes with it. So I think it was more about that than, oh, he stinks, he can't play. Like, he could, if Mike Tomlin's trying to sign him, he could play. Like,
Right.
that's how I look at it.
Now, Jake, would you have an issue if we bring on an Asmaniac?
Let's do it.
All right, here we go, baby. Johnny boy. I anoint him the winner. That's it. Done. Over.
He's already out,
I
unfortunately.
already lost.
Bring him back in, man. Bring him
You're
back.
the Afterburners winner, Johnny. Don't worry.
What up? What's going on, Jake? Jake, I wanted to ask you something real quick because I think this is really perfect, man. So I wanted to elaborate a little bit more in regards to that veteran conversation, right? So on your show, there's a lot of fans and stuff. I mean, you already know how the Jet fans are. We're everywhere. We're crazy, right? But the whole concept of a vet, and we need to get this guy that is like 39, 40 years old, Calais Campbell. I'm just giving an example. It's why are we pushing for something when the regime already essentially said that we're going young, right? What's the reasoning behind that? And then my other question, right? Why is it that when we get a quarterback over here, it seems like within our market, they fail, but then they tend to go to somewhere else, maybe a smaller market, and they have a lot more success. I appreciate you guys. I wanted to come up here. Love what you guys are doing. Jake always killing it over here, but wanted to ask these questions real quick, man. Peace,
Happy
peace,
birthday,
peace.
Johnny.
It's on my birthday.
Oh.
They got us good on that one.
That's
Thanks,
an
Dan
ongoing joke.
Philcox.
For Jake knows what we're talking about.
Oh, yeah. Johnny's been doing that for years.
Have a great one, Johnny.
I mean, I think it comes down to coaching. I also think New York, there's a lot of pressure. Like, it's hard to be the guy in New York right away. Like, if you screw up here, everyone hears about it. Like, LOL Jets is a thing. It was the same thing with the Knicks when they were bad. Same thing with the Mets when they were bad. Like, certain teams, there are people out there just waiting to pounce. And the Jets have had that for a while. And then you put Rodgers into it, and he's polarizing. And you get what you've seen from the coverage the last 2 years. So I think a lot of it is the lack of player development, especially on offense. Like, I think really good coaches could take talent and develop them. And I think the Jets have really struggled to do that, and for lack of a better way of explaining it.
But it's wild. Like, again, if he does change it around here, right? Aaron Glenn and whatnot. Just I keep going back. Again. I still got this, dude, from 1998 when we were waving this. This is from the Jacksonville Jaguars game, AFC
awesome.
divisional game. That was my first game, packed beyond, waving it, going fucking crazy, and saying out loud, "Bring on Elway." Like, I have never experienced as a Jet fan up to that point pleading to play against the best. Like, it when you would look at the schedule and you're like, oh shoot, we've got to play against Jim Kelly and Marino, and all right, maybe we might beat the Bengals because they suck. They got Dan Shula. But at that point, there was that pride as a Jet fan. And I just remember Vinny and the Jets. That's what they would call it. Shirts everywhere. Yep. I just sense, as we were talking about earlier, like, when is it? When is it our time? I think we're getting damn close, Jake. I think we're getting really effing close to being that prideful Jet fan and wearing our Jet screen and saying, yeah, we're the best team in New York and we're about to be the best team in the NFL.
Dan, send me the drugs you're smoking. I hope you're right, man.
This is all mine. This is all mine.
I hope so, man. I really do. The Jet fans, you guys included, are the best. Like, we don't have our own stadium, but we're this passionate, this loyal. We care so much. I mean, I do a show twice a day, 2 hours a day, each year round, talking about this team, and they have the longest playoff drought in sports. And I can make a living doing it because of how passionate this fan base is. And I want to win for all the people who are still loyal and still care this much, because we really shouldn't. Like, if the Jets were a real life relationship with, like, a woman, or if you're a female, a male, or whatever side of the aisle you're on there, like you wouldn't stay in this relationship this long. It's toxic. It's abusive, but we're still here, and hopefully our loyalty will one day be rewarded. Hopefully soon, like you think it is, Dan. That'd be great.
We deserve it so much, man. I remember the night after that Thursday night game against the Patriots. I tuned in to your show, and I think it was Laney was on the show crying, just tears of joy because we finally thought that we had turned the page. I don't know if you remember that.
Yeah,
we
do,
finally thought that we turned the page.
That was the best night, honestly. The highlight of the Aaron Rodgers era was, of course, that win, and then the 9 days before the Denver debacle when the season started the spiral. Like they were 2-1. Rodgers looked great. We're like, we got a team. Like Rodgers stays healthy. Like he shaked off the rust the first 2 weeks.
Yep.
Led a fourth quarter comeback against the Titans. Here we go. Let's get settled in. Schedules on paper somewhat favorable for the Jets. Turned out not to be, and here we go.
And I know the answer to the question. I'm going to ask you because I want to hear you say it anyway. What is that feeling going to be like when we finally turn the page and like just the joy? Like what are you going to be doing like once we're finally a good team, man?
Hopefully I'm still doing the show, right? Like it's not that
hopefully
long
we're not
from now.
dead. Yeah.
Like, yeah, I mean, I've been doing daily Jets talk on YouTube now for 4 years. I mean, since January of 21. So that's 21, 22, 23, 20. Like this will be my 5th year doing daily content. And the most amount of games they won has been 7. It's been depressing. So, hopefully soon. And I'm still doing the show, and these post-game shows are post-game parties like that New England one was that you referenced, Liam, and not, post-game sadness and the post-game anger that typically happens on those shows.
Now, Jake, when we have our probably home opener or whatnot, thinking about doing a huge tailgate. Will you come?
I'll stop by. I'm usually at L5 before every game. The crew I'm with, we do the big jersey burn before every home game. So that's usually where I'm at. But I'd be happy to stop by and say hello.
You rock, man. Dude, thank you so much, man. You have no idea how much this means to us just to have you on. You're a fellow Long Islander, man. You're an original Jet fan. Yeah, you've been through the thick and thin, and we appreciate everything you do for this community. It speaks volumes of your character, and just your show in general, man. Sometimes we need to just get out of our realism and tune in and say, you know what, just going to give my life a little bit of some free time. We turn on your show and we love it, dude. Just keep kicking ass, Jake.
Thank you. I appreciate it. And I mean, that means a lot. It's a Jet show by a Jet fan for Jet fans. And, the people who tune in every day are the best. I mean, you brought up the Asmaniac Madness thing earlier. I mean, we had over 100-something people that we had to try and cut down, if you will, to 64 names to fill out a March Madness style bracket of, like, think about how crazy this is, of callers who call into a Jet YouTube show. Yes. And people are super into it. It's just a testament to how great the Jet fan base is and the community is. So hopefully better days are ahead. And when that happens, I mean, I can't even imagine how much fun that's going to be.
Without a doubt.
Yeah. Once again, big thank you for coming on. For whatever reason, if somebody can't find you, where can people find you?
At Jake Asman on all social media, and just type my name in on YouTube if you want to watch the Daily Jet Show.
Appreciate it, man.
I love it. Jake, have a great night, my man, and definitely we'll be in contact.
You got it, guys. Thanks for having me. And if you guys are free, I'm doing a draft party the night of the first round at Clinton Hall in New York City. So we'd love to have you guys there, you and your listeners, if you guys are able to make it.
Sure.
I love it. Very good. I'll see you there, man.
You got it, guys. Go Jets.
Go Jets. Later, Jake. All right. Very cool. We got to keep this going. I'm sorry, man. I'm hyped, dude. Yeah. I'm hyped. I don't see a 2-15 season. I am drugged on this team. I see a 15-2 season. The delusionalness. It's there. Why? Because Bitcoin broke 88,000 and I'm there, baby.
We're back. We're so back.
We're so back. What's going on, Panos?
I haven't been able to vent about any of my Jet stuff in a while. So I guess first I want to touch base on the draft a little bit. we have to, I guess, go Warren at 7, right?
Yep.
Like we have
I
to.
would.
I mean, I don't really know much about this Arizona receiver, but I don't know if
Love
he's
that
that
guy.
great. You like him to. You have to get a weapon regardless. Like
Yes.
Membu would be like a good pick. I wouldn't be upset about it, but like, can we be a good franchise for once and find a right tackle that can start in the 5th round or something? Like, can we
Yes.
just draft somebody good? Like every team that does this, we don't need a 1st round pick on the O-line every season. Okay. Have to get weapons. The only possible way for this team to be decent is to nail the draft.
Right.
Yep.
Have to crush draft. Otherwise, I'm looking at 3 to 4 wins max again.
Wow.
And I want 3 or 4 wins, or I want 9 wins. And I want Justin Fields to be good, and we developed him, and everything's going well according to plan. You know, the delusional Jets fan will come out and will say these things when in reality, we never develop a quarterback. So why is it going to be different now? But that's the only way. I will not take 7, 6, like a good season. They look good. They have 5 or 6 wins. I don't want that. I want to suck, or you need to have 9 wins. I want a winning season then, because we need a quarterback next year then. Like we have 5 or 6 wins, 7 wins. We're still going to need a quarterback. I mean, Justin Fields probably wasn't that good, right? So do I want to be picking in the teens?
So essentially, it's playoffs or bust.
It doesn't have to be playoffs, just a winning season. 9 wins.
Okay.
Right? Is that fair?
Yeah, no, I mean, you're not crazy for wanting your team to be good.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
The bar is just so low. You know?
It is.
So check this out. You know, like imagine being like a Bills fan right now, and a Bills fan saying, "Yeah, you know, 9 wins is good," or Chiefs fans saying, "Yeah, 9 wins is good." That's unacceptable for 90% of the teams out there. You know, maybe the Browns will be happy with 9
Also
wins.
the Browns, that's it. Yeah.
The Jaguars would probably be happy with 9
Giants.
wins. Yeah, yeah. I mean, Giants will be happy with 5 wins this year. I don't know what the hell they're doing, but yeah. I mean, it's got to end at some point. You know, like it doesn't rain forever. We're just stuck in a really bad rainstorm. Last off season, it was kind of like the eye of the storm. You know, everything is nice. You know, Rodgers is in Egypt. Who cares? You know,
Right.
Jake even said, you know, if the Jets miss the playoffs, it's not going to be because Aaron Rodgers was in Egypt. And he's probably right. I mean, it was just so deep rooted, and we all knew it too. We all knew that Robert Saleh should not have been the coach, and that's really where it all started. You know, that's where it all that's where it derailed. Do you think that having what we think could be a legitimate head coach in Aaron Glenn, what do you expect from Aaron Glenn this year?
Guys, I don't expect anything. I'm broken, man. I feel like we've talked about this before. Last year really broke me as a Jets fan. Like going to London, like I've talked about, doing all that stuff, sitting in the rain in that Denver game. It's like now typically I'll be in that delusion phase where like I'm getting hyped up, talking myself into the Jets being good. But now it's more for me. I can't buy in until I see it. I'm not going to be down. I'm not going to be down on Aaron Glenn. I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt. But like, I don't know anything about Muji, whatever the hell his name is. No one knows anything about the GMs when they hire them. It's like pure luck. I feel like it's just like getting lucky. It's like it's like going to college and like getting a lucky professor that's easier in English than, you know, one of your friends' classes or something. It's just like luck. You got to get lucky that this guy's going to be good, you know? So I don't know. I don't like what they've done. I mean, I get what they're doing. They're starting the rebuild, right? We're going to rebuild basically. And we got to just hope. I want Justin Fields to be good. It'd be awesome if he found this guy and he's our quarterback for the next 10 years. That's what I'm hoping for. I can see it happening. But he can't do it with the weapons we have, right? Wasn't he like he had a good chemistry with that guy? What, Cole Kmet? What was that Bears tight end?
Exactly.
Well, like you got to get this guy like a Tyler Warren or something. Who else would you guys draft at 7? I think there's only like 3 options. I don't want a D tackle or something. I do not want anything. I don't care with that Graham guy if he's there and he's so good, whatever. Just get a weapon. I'm sick of it. We need
McMillan,
yeah. I don't know how good he is. He's slow though, right? Isn't he like slow? But you need somebody like Garrett Wilson's tiny, man. We need a big body receiver out there. We have Tyler Johnson. That guy's like as big as me. Like,
right. Well, that's the thing, right? Like with the Jets. Oh man, that one hangs like mine just now. So
does it fall over like yours too?
Yeah, it's been like that for the past 45 minutes. So with the Jets, it's you. Great segue. You have to expect the unexpected with the Jets, right? Like when you expect the Jets to be good, they suck.
That's what I'm hoping. We got to be due.
Right?
We got to be due.
It's always like that.
Right.
And I think the expectations are so low. Just like you said, just like Jake said just now, we're so worn out. Even Liam, too. I mean, everybody is like, oh, shit, it's like, when is enough enough? We're going into the season. We're trying to hype up Justin Fields, Aaron Glenn. It's just, but in my opinion, I actually like the route that the Jets went this year. They cleaned house. They said, all right, you know what? If we're going to build a different culture here, we need everyone to buy in. Number one, when we have off-season training camp, who's going to show up? Is everyone going to show up? Is everyone going to buy in? Or are we going to have an outlier here that may be, yes, he's great. He's a Hall of Famer, but he might be a negative, infectious player a la Egypt guy, Aaron Rodgers. He's not showing up. If he's not showing up, Devontae's not going to show up. If those two aren't showing up, then Sauce isn't showing up. If Sauce doesn't show up, Garrett Wilson to get his extension, he's not showing up. I like the fact that we completely got rid of Aaron Rodgers, Devontae, C.J. Mosley, Reddick, and the list goes on and on and on and on. As much as they were fan favorites, I get it, except for Reddick. But now you have all these blue chippers, these guys that have something to prove. And I think that's the whole reasoning why they went out and got Justin Fields. Look at Vinny Testaverde, same thing. He was a loser with Tampa Bay. Then Belichick got him, and he cut Bernie Kosar for him. And then he goes to the Jets. The rest was history. Same thing with Drew Brees. I know I keep saying it over and over, but it's like the motto of what Aaron Glenn has been taught, what he saw. If I can get a quarterback and then surround him with gritty players, things can happen, something special. Jared Goff, dude, think about this. Jared Goff takes the Rams to the Super Bowl. That offseason, they rewarded him with a huge extension. He played 1 year into that extension, and they traded him. How shitty.
Smart. They won the Super Bowl. After.
No. Yes. But I'm just saying,
Yeah.
in Goff's defense, how shitty must he have felt? Like, I just took you to the Super Bowl. In a year removed, you trade me. So again, the common denominator is a chip on your shoulder. The guy is the reason why the trash of an organization like the Detroit Lions turned it around. Like, that's my whole thing of, yes, you can call me green color glasses, whatever the case is, but it just seems like Aaron Glenn has seen this before and he's bringing it here.
But Jared Goff can't throw. Justin Fields can't throw.
But Jared Goff can't run.
Sam Darnold couldn't do that. He couldn't throw. He sucked with the Jets, with the Niners, with the Panthers. Baker Mayfield, same thing. First overall draft pick. He was good that first, second year with the Browns, this and that. Got jettisoned. He got cut. Played for the Rams on a Thursday night. Season's over. All of a sudden, the guy's a freaking franchise quarterback.
God, yes.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, maybe we can catch this pendulum swinging our way, as opposed to like killing us, like right in the belly. But maybe we can catch lightning in a bottle. We can have something special going on. I like where we're going. That's all I'm saying. You're right, Panos, what you said at the beginning. We have to knock it out of the park in the draft. That's why I don't foresee the Jets getting a Jackson Dart at 7 or moving up to get Shador. I don't see it because I think Aaron Glenn's, I'm sorry, Liam, I'm taking so much time, but I think I see Aaron Glenn seeing the entire picture. This is New York. I got 3 years here. I got 3 years to showcase that I can turn this shit around. He's no fool. Or 2 years. 2 years, whatever.
Before we start losing our minds. So he's got that. Not fair to him, but 2 max. Yeah.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, he sees it. He sees that he doesn't have time to develop a young quarterback. Guys want Shador. They want to trade up to Cam. I was one of those idiots. Oh, yeah, I want Cam. I want to trade up. This guy knows that he needs to produce right now. He needs to have a 9-win season this year. And I think he might get it.
We're going to know in year one whether or not we have a real head coach. It doesn't take 2 years to figure that out. The winning might take 2 years.
Right.
But we're going to know right away if we have a legitimate head coach. You know, we're going to tell by the penalties on.
Well done, Matthew. Well done, sir. Well done. After all that, okay, go trade up for the freaking guy.
Yeah, whatever. Go back.
Fuck Aaron Glenn. He's a millionaire.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, we're going to know right away whether or not we have a head coach. You know, we're going to be able to tell by the discipline on the team, how many penalties they're getting, the way that they're playing. Are they playing hard? Are they taking plays off? We're going to know right away. We're going to know within like the first month of him coaching games, the first 4 games, what kind of head coach he is.
If we had Ben Johnson, Matthew, yes, I would say yes. At least we would have an innovator at head coach, offensive coordinator. It's sad to say, but we have a defensive-minded head coach. We have a defensive-minded head coach, and as history tells us, most likely we're going to be very conservative on offense. And I think we would be doing Cam Ward a huge disservice. Now let's look at Cam Ward and compare him to Justin Fields here. Right? Let's look at that for a second. Both of them have rocket arms. They could both run. They're dual threat. They make plays. So to trade all the way up for Cam Ward, which I don't think is even a possibility, Panos. Liam, I don't even think.
I wouldn't. Cam Ward is not an auto franchise quarterback, in my opinion. I watched him. My brother went to University of Miami. That's like, I went to Rutgers, so they suck. So like Miami's like my second team, that I follow. I watch Cam Ward a lot. He can make all the throws. He's not a runner like Justin Fields. Justin Fields is a beast of a runner. But Cam Ward can sling the rock. But I'm not trading up and mortgaging the future for Cam Ward. I'm not doing it. You know what I mean? Like, what I want to ask you guys is, if Shedeur Sanders is at 7, do you take him?
No, I can't.
I would trade back.
I can't because of Dion. But it's the most Jets thing to do.
Yeah, it's to say no, and then he's going to be like the best quarterback ever. You know that, right? Like, he's going to be there at 7, and we'll trade back, and he's going to be a franchise quarterback.
We passed on Mahomes for Jamal Adams.
Or J.J. McCarthy. Last year, we had a chance to get – but again, in all fairness, you can't draft a quarterback and then fire – the head coach, and now you have to force another head coach onto this quarterback. No. It's a recipe for disaster. You know what I mean? Like, that's why I don't see the Giants drafting Shedeur. I don't see that. I don't see how Brian Daboll is there given another 3-4 years after
he doesn't.
The Giants organization, just quickly on them, is a complete mess. What a mistake. You should have just fired both of those guys and started completely over with the 3rd overall pick. And then you go get Winston. You're just setting yourself up for the inevitable. I don't understand that at all, but who cares about that? And I think that's just stupid.
Isn't it kind of funny that like we're not the clowns in New York anymore? Like it really is the Giants. You're right. They're in no man's land.
And they've sucked, and they've been worse than us. Like my Giant, they made the playoffs the 1 year. Outside of that, they've been a worse team than the Jets in the past 10 years. Honestly, they've been terrible. Why we became a joke is because we hyped up Aaron Rodgers and then the whole thing, and it backfired in our face, like everything always does. That's why we became a joke again. Really, the Giants are a pathetic organization right now. But back to the Sanders thing, the reason why the Jets won't take Sanders is because if they take rolling with Justin Fields buys the regime more time. Oh, I didn't get my quarterback yet. I still have time to do that, right? Buys himself time with the fan base and the organization, in my opinion, as well, by not taking that quarterback. But you have to at least do it in the next year, because then you're going to end up like Daboll in that situation where you never got your chance to quarterback, and look the situation they're in now. So.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like pressing a quarterback on a coach. Like, again, maybe Brian Daboll is an excellent head coach.
No,
but he got force-fed Daniel Jones, who, again, this offseason is weird, man. We're like Daniel Jones watch. Oh, is he signing with the Vikings, with the Colts, or I don't even know who he signed with. Who did he sign with?
The Colts.
Wow, oh, that's a game breaker. He sucks. He is a horrible quarterback, but it was like even the Vikings getting him last year, I thought he would stay there, maybe knowing that offense. That I think that would have been prudent for him to stay one more year under that system, especially with J.J. McCarthy's health. But I don't know. I don't know how. That's why I
don't think
probably
Daniel Jones is that bad, to be honest.
probably a runner.
I think he didn't get a fair shake over there either. That O-line was always injured, terrible. He never had weapons. He finally got a weapon, and then they fell apart. They finally gave him neighbors. Like he was throwing to like all his receivers were like 5'7". You know what I mean? Like,
you want to know which quarterback I think the Jets are probably going to draft, maybe in the 3rd round, and I compare him a lot to Dak Prescott. What was the school that he went to? Was it Texas something? I forgot. Wasn't Texas A&M. I forgot what, but I remember watching. What's that?
Texas Tech?
No. It was. I'm probably whiffing on Mississippi State or something like that. But I remember watching him, and he was more of a runner, and then he would throw some this and that. But when you watch him, you really didn't think that he was going to be a stud in the NFL.
Nassau Community College?
Probably. That's where I see him. We graduated together.
what about the Ohio State quarterback?
Will Howard. That's another kid. Mississippi. Yes, that's the one, Matthew. Exactly. So my whole thing is this. I think the Jets are probably, and this is not as a franchise quarterback. I think this is more of a moving the sticks draft pick, even though that he's categorized as a quarterback. I think it's going to be Jalen Milroe. All right. Again, I'm not saying that he's the answer.
Yeah.
I'm looking at him like a Slash, like a Cordell Stewart, like a Brad Smith, where who knows, maybe, let's say, God forbid, something happens to the guy that's in front of him. He gets pushed in there and he makes the most out of his opportunity.
Let me ask you something, though, real quick. Do you think any of these quarterbacks are better than Justin Fields, though? I don't know. Like,
no,
I can't take the risk if I'm Muji in my top 3 picks, not nailing them. They have to be like starters. Like those 3 guys have to be starters this year for us to have any chance. Like we have holes to fill. They need to be starters.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, remember the 2006 draft, right? We had it was stellar. We had DeBrickshaw, Mangold, Brad Smith, Leon Washington, Eric Smith, Drew Coleman. These were role players that they had a part of the team. That's why I look at Jalen Milroe, kind of the same thing. I don't see him as like a redshirt year. We want you to learn. No. It's 3rd and 1, 3rd and 2. He has that physique where he could just ram it right up.
But Fields can do that. Fields can do that.
Yeah, but the problem with Fields is he gets injured. Now we're screwed. We got Tyrod, another guy that's like constantly on IR. You know, he can't.
So what if he gets injured? So what? We suck, and then we just draft a good quarterback.
For us, you're right. And
Who cares? Yeah.
But I don't think for the head coach themselves, I don't think that's the route that they want to go. You know, I don't. I think you need impact players, and yeah, the first 3 picks, I would at least have Jalen Milroe maybe in the 3rd. Maybe he drops to the 3rd. I don't know. Maybe I'm crazy. But I don't see a team looking at Milroe and saying, "Yup, that's my franchise quarterback." I see him more as a role player than anything else.
I can't wait to pick on that. Then I have to. If you're telling me you're picking him in the top 3, you have to think there's a possibility if it was a franchise quarterback, or I can't take him. We're not in a position to do that. We need those picks. You need a weapon at 7. And we're like, I'll be okay with Membo if you want to go Membo.
Number 1, yes.
Yeah, you have
number 1.
We have him right here. We have Armand Membo right here.
Oh, there it is. That's right.
Speak of the devil.
I'm ready to play right tackle, or I'll play right guard. Let's get Armand on the right side.
I'm in. I'm all for it. Maybe offensive tackle, wide receiver. And I do like the fact of possibly getting someone like Milroe. To me, it's moving the chains, right? I get it. You guys want starters, but if you can move the change, like let's say, how many times have we watched now the Jets 3rd and 1, 2nd and 1, whatever the case is, and we can't sustain drives? If we can think outside of the box, right? We don't know what Tanner Engstrand's going to bring to the table. We have no idea. But all we want is sustainability in those drives. get us 7 points. I'm done with 3 points. I'm done. We can't even kick them anyway. But like I want touchdowns, something where I don't see a 3-and-out punt, 3-and-out punt. Like no wonder Morstead doesn't want to retire.
Yeah.
This is bread. This
I
is
don't
cake
know if
for him.
Justin Fields is going to do that. Remember the Falcon game last year? Although he had 5 straight drives of nothing, they won the game on field goals.
Right.
Fields was the starter for the Steelers.
But can I be honest here? Like, yes, Fields is our starter, but isn't that something important within a football team of constant competition? Like, I don't want Justin Fields, even though we're giving him buku bucks. I get it. I understand. I don't see Tyrod starting the season, but you want that kind of looking over the shoulder kind of, all right, you know what? I got to maintain myself at that high level because not only do I have Tyrod behind me, I have a young quarterback as well who may be just as good given the opportunity. Again, someone like Jalen Milroe. I don't see Cam Ward. I don't see Shador dropping to the Jets. I just look at that saying, all right, you know what? At least it breeds competition. I think that's what we want the most. Competition at every single level.
Do you think they made up their mind already, though, by signing Justin Fields and a QB is not an option? Do you think they talked to Justin Fields that we're not taking quarterback? Because why the hell else would he sign with us besides the money? I guess.
I think QB's on the table. I think signing Fields is just to get a quarterback in here. He was like, out of the crap that was on free agency, he was the number one guy.
I agree. Yeah.
Just my only issue is you're making him the full-time. You're starting him from right now, $30 million. If you wanted, because Glenn always talked about competition. If you wanted to do a real competition and you want to go with the young quarterback, I'm not saying this guy's great, but he's more of an unknown than Fields is at this time.
Right.
Trey Lance, 2 years younger. You could have had a real competition with him and Tyrod.
That would have I would have just killed myself.
Yeah.
I'm just saying because you went with a young quarterback and wanted a competition and using Glenn's words against him.
I think people are jumping off bridges now.
Yeah, I'm jumping off a bridge if you tell me Trey Lance. They brought in Trey Lance. And
he was not going to cost you $30 million guaranteed.
Yeah, but we want to.
You could have spent more money on other players.
Hey, my money. Hey, my money. No, but all right. So let me preface it again. Like, I'm not talking about competition, training camp, or maybe that would be great. But as the season goes on, let's say this young quarterback, again, I'm going to stick with Milroe. I'm going to stick with this kid. Maybe you could say McCord or whatever, but I see these other quarterbacks as not even making a dent on this team. Like I see a quarterback where someone like Milroe, where you could just bring him in, maybe a reverse or something, somewhere that you could make something happen. That's why I see him.
For what? He plays a game? I don't know why you're fixated on this. I don't understand it. It doesn't make sense. Why am I drafting Milroe for a 1 gimmick play a game, 2 gimmick play a game?
And Pittsburgh didn't do that with Fields when they benched him for Russ. They didn't do that at all, even when they struggled down the stretch.
I like McCord.
Ended the season on a 5-game losing streak. And if you do, Dan, if you do what you're saying, you give Milroe the gadget plays and they're successful, this fan base is going to say, just start Milroe.
Yes.
Like you go 6 weeks of it being successful, whether getting first downs, getting touchdowns. Mm-hmm. We're going to cry on every podcast, on WFAN, bench
on the Jets afterburners.
But is that a bad thing?
Podcast.
Is that a bad thing? Is that a bad thing?
No, but if you're saying draft Milroe, then I draft him because you think he's the guy, not for the gimmick plays, is what I'm saying.
But hold on one second. Hold on. Let's put things in proper perspective. We draft a quarterback high. We push him out there like Geno, Sanchez, Darnold, and this Lumnuts and Zach, right? I got all his freaking jerseys here. All right. We push him out there. There's no development. But this kid here, if you get him, again, I'm just sticking with Milroe in this scenario,
I understand. Yeah,
right? But you groom him in slowly, little by little, and then he gains some confidence. We have not done that ever since Chad Pennington. Great, like grooming a young quarterback. Now, in your scenario, Armand, yes, maybe as the weeks go on and you see that there might be something special in this kid, let's say per se, we would have every right to say, all right, you know what? Give him a little bit more. Give him a little bit more, because let's paint the picture again. Let's say it's week 10. We're, I don't know, freaking 5-5, whatever the case is. Justin Fields is struggling here and there, and Milroe already played a good, maybe let's say 5%, 6%, whatever the case is. He saw the field. He sees how fast the NFL is. He's studying, whatever the case is. God forbid something happens with Justin. Now enter Jalen, and he takes off. Wouldn't that?
I get what you're saying, but just to go back to the original context of the point here, I think we all agree with that. But I'm just saying, if I'm going to use a top 3 pick, I want Muji using his brain here that I'm taking this guy because I can see him being a starter. And I agree with you. I want him to develop. I don't want to throw him out there. We let him go behind Justin Fields. But my point is, the way you were saying, it was like you wanted him to be like this gadget play guy. That's not why I want, like, if you draft him, then he has to be capable of being your starter. Otherwise, I don't want him. That's my point. You kept saying, like, I want him to come in for one play here and there. No, we don't draft him if that's the reason why, is what I'm trying to say.
But that's what Pittsburgh did. Pittsburgh did the same thing with Cordell. The same thing when they had Neil O'Donnell there. They did that just to get him some sort of experience here.
No, that's fine. But I get, all I'm saying is,
Cordell played a different position in college. They transitioned him to quarterback.
No,
Right?
no. He played quarterback in Colorado. He played quarterback.
No. But all I'm trying to say is that I'm fine with your take. I just want you to expand and say, I think Milroe is a franchise guy. But if you want to give him the gadget plays, I don't want him being taken for the sole purpose to do gadget plays, is what I'm saying. I don't want to waste a pick on that. But if you're telling me he believes in this guy becoming and starting quarterback and developing, I'm with you. So if you just rephrase it a little bit better, then I'm on your side. Is what
I'll meet you halfway. Let's say we go again, offensive tackle, wide receiver, and I don't know, freaking cornerback or safety. All right. Then we trade back into the third and take him. Would that be okay with you, or you would still not like?
I'm fine with that, but I'm fine with that, but it better be wide receiver, offensive line, tight end. Like, I'm going all 3. I'm not doing anything on defense. Like, I want to use Aaron Glenn's coaching ability to coach up my defense back to prosperity. Like, I'm not wasting picks on that shit.
He's getting very mad.
Yeah.
We are not talking Milroe. We are
very
not
mad.
talking Milroe.
I'm sorry. The hell with Jalen.
I want to ask you guys real quick, because I'm going to jump. What do you do with Quincy Williams?
Play him.
No, do you pay him?
No. I look to trade him.
Interesting.
I think Quinnen is probably the guy that's out. I honestly think so.
Quincy.
I say Quinnen. Quinnen has a big time contract. Very big contract.
But nobody's going to take that.
Well, we might have to eat a little bit.
Yeah, they will. Somebody will.
Somebody will take that.
Not with this draft class.
I mean,
not with this.
Maybe sees it, someone gets hurt, something like that. But
how are the Niners? How are the Niners?
What do you do with Quincy?
They're resetting more so than us.
I'm paying Quincy, in my opinion. I think you can look at it both ways. I see both ways. Like, I want to reward Quincy. I played his contract. I think he's a great player. I like him. But then you also think about he's 29. We just paid Sherwood. How many teams are paying 2 linebackers over $10 million in the league? None.
Yeah.
So that's how it's like you have both sides to the story.
And look at what they've done in free agency, guys under 30.
Now, Panos, I want to get your thoughts on this before you hop off. This is something that nobody's talking about except for me. To be 100% transparent.
Mm-hmm.
Let's say we do move on from Quincy. Maybe we bring back a fan favorite, somebody that a lot of people don't know has a lot of connections to Aaron Glenn and the Detroit Lions, has connections to the Denver Broncos and Muji. Former Jet, former fan favorite. We could get him for real cheap. Would you be opposed to bringing back Quan Alexander?
Was he in the league last year? Or was he like on the
Yes, he was on the
practice squad
for the Lions.
For the Lions. I mean,
he has that Glenn connection. He was with the he's a veteran. You could probably get him for dirt cheap, probably $1 million. He's been with the Broncos. He knows Muji.
I mean, why not? It wouldn't hurt, right? Like, who cares?
He's over 30. That's my answer. He's over 30. They haven't signed anybody over 30.
Yeah, they're going super young. I mean, I don't think it's a bad move. I mean, I don't. I'm not trading Quincy either. I don't know. I think it's a really tough call to do. I personally would pay the guy, honestly.
I wouldn't trade him this year. I mean, I know you got to pay him, but I really wish we wouldn't. When do we have to pay him?
You don't have to pay him. You have this year, but like
it is, yeah.
But you don't really want to. He's outplayed his contract. You kind of got to figure something out.
And we can't wait till after the draft because that's when stuff might come out that he's holding out. He's not going to get it. So like come draft time, I wouldn't be surprised if he's shopped around. And look at Debo, 5th round pick last year of his contract.
He could hold out all he wants. He could hold out all he wants. We just went through this with Reddick.
Probably going to get a day 3 pick for Quincy.
You could be
5th round.
I don't know if we're going to hold out. I don't know if he's going to hold out, though. I mean, his brother's here. He does seem pretty happy overall. I know money talks. I know money is the thing. But
I think it all depends, man, how he does this year. I don't see the Jets trading him. I think Quincy is a Glenn guy. He plays on fire. He's all about the team. A lot of passion there. Speed as well.
Yep.
I honestly look at this as, all right, the Jets have to start ponying up for Sauce Gardner and Garrett Wilson. How do they get the money? And
I don't want to hear that. Before I go, I don't want to hear anything about the money. The Eagles, I wake up every day on X and the Eagles are paying somebody for $100 million. Like, why can't we just pay our guys? It makes no sense.
Yes, right.
I got the answer. It's Woody Johnson.
Woody Johnson's never been cheap. That's not his problem.
Yeah, no, I agree.
But at certain points, he says, like, no.
No. I think we just need
when they go all in and spend all the money that they possibly could, yeah.
And they lose.
You gotta say no at some point. He's
That's
not.
Why I think he's saying no right now. That's why I think he's saying no right now. He wants
That's not the right way to do it, though.
I don't. I kindly disagree with you, Armand. I think sooner or later Woody's going to pony up with Garrett. He sees that Garrett is
after this season.
Wait,
not after the season.
Last thing, you see that guy Kurt whatever on Twitter that
Ben Kurt,
he said Garrett Wilson's like the 45th best receiver.
He was a Packers quarterback. He's friends with Rodgers. I wouldn't be surprised if Rodgers told him some crap that went on behind the scenes between him and that he made him say that.
Has to, right? That was crazy. Anyway, I appreciate you guys. I'll be listening.
Wait, hold on, Panos. Wait. What do you think? XRP, how it's what do you got? What do you got in the coming weeks? Do you think it's going to go up? It's at 2.
I think the bottom's in on Bitcoin. I think we go to maybe if you get 82, 84K, load the boat. The stock market looks good. Trump's rolling back on the tariffs. If you got Tesla, which I did at 224, that was a good buy.
All right. What about Kronos? It went up a little bit.
Do you know what ETHU is?
No.
Okay, it's a 2x leverage on Ether. It's like a stock you could buy, like an ETF.
Okay.
I scoop some of that up because why not? If ETH goes to 4,000, it's like this thing's like 240 right now. So if it goes to 4,000, it'll be $16.
Oh, you're turning me on right now.
I don't know. I'm not like too crazy on the altcoins. Like there's going to be an alt season in my opinion, but I like XRP has been really strong. ADA has been really strong. SEI, there's, if there's an alt season, whatever you put your money in, you're going to make. Just don't get greedy. Remember, take profits because the shit will nuke at some point. So just
love it. So just in case everybody follow Panos, amazing deals. Later, brother.
Thanks, man.
So, and then there were the original 3. Look at you. So Armand, did you like our, little get together with Jake? You see?
Yes.
Mended the fences.
Yes. After so many hiccups with him.
Yeah. No, he's a good egg, man. He's a good egg. But I mean, so do you see the Jets getting McCord? He's a big Jet fan.
Armand, is that your Afterburner shirt?
Yes.
Love it.
Oh,
look! I got. Look what I got. Yeah, Hey,
where's your hat, Johnny boy? Where's your hat?
Yeah, Johnny.
It's upstairs right now.
Oh.
Whoa, what's going on here?
I like this.
Okay.
Yeah, here we go.
I don't even know how to get this back.
I don't know either.
Oh,
You know who's missing right now, right?
who's that?
It's Afram, bro.
All of us.
He's on. Oh, what do we? Do?
I don't
He's
know
on.
what we're
He's
doing.
on. Let's Talk Jets right now.
Oh, is
He
he cheating?
finished. He was on. He finished.
Uh-oh.
Dude, where
This
is
is kinda cool.
everybody?
Why
All
am
right. So what's the deal with the
Where's my
Fields
head?
contract?
It's 2 years, 40 million, 30 million of guaranteed money.
And how much is it this year he's making?
Let me look that up right now.
Yeah, you do that because I don't know what the fuck I'm doing here.
Dan, you don't know what the hell you're doing, period, except Twitter.
I
This
think
is
he's
the
like
best view we've had all night.
I think he's like 20 mil, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay. So he has for this year, his base salary is, this is according to Over the Cap. He has a base salary of $5 million, a prorated signing bonus of $3 million, guaranteed salary this year of $5 million. His cap number is $8 million. Next year, he's making $20 million base salary with a $3 million signing bonus. And he has void years on his
I was
contract.
just screwing with it.
So is that a bad contract for a starting quarterback in the league right now?
For him that hasn't thrown for 3,000 yards, yes.
When he was with, what was the offensive line's ranking when he was with the
Sorry,
Bears?
Matthew.
Sorry.
I don't
We're
know
new
off
at
the top
this.
of my head. But they were building that line while he was there because he was on the rookie deal.
Which was the third year that he was there when they started having a lot more players there. The second year that he was there is when he ran for like 1,100 yards, if I'm not mistaken, because he was getting chased. And that was the year that he was the most sacked quarterback and he was the most pressured quarterback in the league that year, if I'm not mistaken. So that's why I can't say to him and blame him for that because I don't feel like he was ever utilized the right way. Any quarterback that gets picked up normally, right, within the first, I at least say 10 picks in the first round, they're typically going to a team that sucks. Is that not correct?
That is correct. That's why I can't give up on this kid. Like I can't be looking at Justin Fields and be like, oh, that's not the answer. Oh, sorry. That's it. That's not the answer. He sucks.
So I have his stats up. So his rookie season, he was sacked 36 times. 2022, he was sacked 55 times.
Oh my gosh.
His third and final season in Chicago, he was sacked 44 times. Last year, he was sacked 16 times.
Right, because they took him out. Probably Tomlin felt bad for the guy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I mean, the guy's been pummeled. Now, could it be that he holds on to the ball too much? Is that a possibility?
I mean, yes, there is a possibility that could be the thing, but all he had over there was Cole Kmet and I think Moore, right?
DJ Moore's final season.
Correct. And then Keenan Allen did not happen with him because that was part of the trade scenario stuff, right?
Right.
Keenan Allen, they traded for him because he was going to get cut by the Chargers.
So this is what I'm saying. Like, there's a lot of stuff that's out there right now that are talking about Fields, and he's had a lot of stuff pressed upon him. I've never heard dude complain, bitch, or anything in regards to that. He's kept playing and kept playing. Now, from friends that I have that are Steeler fans, there's a lot more stories that come up.
Sorry. We were talking about the roster.
Yeah.
There's a lot of individuals that are saying that they wanted to keep Fields over there. And there's a lot more of the story that has not come out in regards to the whole Fields saga that occurred over there in Pittsburgh that's not being talked about as well. So that's what I'm saying. Like, I have to give him the benefit of the doubt over here. I don't think it's a bad contract that what he's going to get paid this year over here. There's a lot more upside to a player that we have not had that's been that dynamic and I don't know how long. Yeah, maybe he throws for, I don't know, let's just say 2,500 yards. Let's just say that, right? But he gives us 800 rushing yards, right? And he gives us like 10 touchdowns and maybe throws for, I don't know, 18 touchdowns at that. So we're saying we wouldn't sign up for something in that sense?
I would, yeah.
I would, yeah.
Absolutely.
That's
That's
all I mean in regards to Fields and all that. Like, they have something cooking, and my hope is that Tanner could potentially, right, truly utilize this individual to his strengths,
right.
and it kind of go from there.
Well,
That's-
again, like there's been rumors that the Steelers wanted Fields back. Not for nothing, right? You're 4-2, and then they bench you. Put yourself in Fields' position. You want to go back there?
no, I wouldn't.
No. Absolutely.
Especially, like Rodgers is
Only if
coming
they
in too.
guaranteed him the starting job.
Yeah, but one second, right? Not for nothing. Maybe this was the first time that a player utilized another team for leverage instead of using the Jets, because that's what we are, right? With Anthony Barr, Antoine Winfield, they always use the Jets as that leverage to raise
Kirk
up the
Cousins.
price. Maybe Kirk Cousins.
He-
Maybe Field said, you know what? You screwed me. I had the team at 4-2. We were riding high. Now I want to use you guys. There was no way that he was going to go back there. No way whatsoever. I just don't see it.
Maybe
If they
Justin Fields will make
guaranteed
a
him the starting
documentary about
job, he'd be
using
back
the Steelers for leverage.
I like what he brings, man. I really like what Justin Fields brings to the table, man. It's different. The guy has a huge chip on his shoulder. He wants to prove to everyone. Like, look at that draft class. All right. So the only true ones that you see that have the potential, number one, Trevor, and then Justin. The other douchebags didn't do anything. Trey Lance, complete bust. Well, I don't care what you say, Armand. And Zach Wilson,
I didn't say
another
he was great. I just said
another-
if you're going to use the youthful thing, he's 2
yeah,
years
we got
younger.
youth. We got youth. We got youth.
We're young,
Zach
Armand.
Wilson.
Feel it. We're young, man.
Zach Wilson,
I'm
the guy's
old.
going in Miami, right? Mac Jones. Dude, come on, man. The guy twinks his nail and he's out for the season. I don't want that here. We have Justin Fields, a guy that when you watch the collegiate, I think it was the Sugar Bowl or whatnot against Trevor, he completely outclassed, outperformed him. And he was getting destroyed in that game. He kept bouncing up, kept bouncing. That's what I saw, and I think that's what we're going to be getting the New York Jets here. I think, and just the mere fact, again, maybe it's silly, but just for a Jet quarterback to wear number 7, it just brings that nostalgia back.
Yep.
Like I hated watching Reddick, you having that. It burned me. I couldn't. But to see Fields there and maybe just leading the Jets to a week 1, week 2 win, it may drive up this fan base to say we might have something special here. That's why I cannot go into this season and say, well,
based on how he performs, right, Dan?
wait until
If they win the game, not because of him, you can't get excited about him.
if he's there and part of the reason, sure, I'm going to be excited because he's the one. He's the one that fires up the team and the team rallies around the quarterback. Of course, I'm going to get really like hyped up. Not like
based on his performance in that game.
Well, if the guy throws for 4 picks and we win in spite of him, yeah, no one is going to be feeling good. But shit, if he throws for a touchdown, throws a pick, and we still win the game, I'm cool with it. Things happen. You know,
winning is the best deodorant out there.
The best.
So,
It's
Dan,
always
I guess I want to ask you now.
Yeah.
What are your stat expectations for Justin Fields?
You want to be honest?
Yeah.
So if we go offense, we go Tyler Warren or Tet McMillan. So now we have some weapons. You look at the offensive line of the Jets. If they can finally gel together, which I think they will, we're just missing a right tackle. The offensive line knows each other pretty well. And it doesn't matter. Like, again, my whole synopsis on that is like, all right, you know what? Let's move the center over to right guard. Now, you know what? I'm going to take a page out of your book. You guys leave everybody as is. Get yourself a right tackle. Maybe we got the guy from Pittsburgh who played with the Pats. You get an offensive firepower. Then second round, you either get a tight end or a wide receiver. Whatever you don't get in the first, you get in the second. And you have a team that believes in each other. And you have your vet quarterback taking that next level, just like Testaverde did, just like Drew Brees did, again, with the Chargers. No one in their right – come on, guys. Let's be honest. No one in their right mind ever thought that Drew Brees leaving the San Diego Chargers would become a Hall of Fame quarterback. Nobody. Me personally, I see 3,400 yards passing, 600 yards rushing, touchdowns, probably 28 touchdowns, interceptions, probably 12.
Sign me.
Up.
Shit, I almost choked on that.
Pass that shit.
Yeah.
God damn, man. Hey, if that's the case, bro, I'm all for it.
Nah,
Because
come
the
on,
upside's
Matthew.
there. Can you imagine a defense, right? You got Justin Fields in the back. Then you got Brees lined up on his left side. Then you got Braylon lined up on his right side.
Mhm.
Comes out RPO.
Right.
Who do you guard?
You can't.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
there's just a lot of now. Does that mean that they're going to utilize those plays? I have no idea. I do not know what Tanner is going
No one
to
knows.
do, but all I could do is hope in regards to that he's able to use those strengths of Justin Fields and do that. People that say that he can't throw, he could throw.
Yeah.
There is film out there. It's just he wasn't utilized the right way. Again, now all I know is he could come in here and he could suck.
Mhm.
And I'm still gonna be a Jet fan regardless of what it is. I hope to God that they do not draft Dart at 7, because
No, they're not.
honestly, I will be off of stuff for a while, man. Because how pissed I would be.
You'll still be on the afterburners, though, right?
No,
Dude,
Johnny says he's not going to be on any
I'm
shows.
gonna be on,
Like-
including my own, bro. I'm gonna be
No,
like, Snowball, it's not happening, bro. Right
There's
now.
no way they're
Here's my-
going that route. There's
Here's
no
my
way.
question with Dart.
Mhm.
I'm going to use Dart because right now the smoke and mirrors is him in the first round.
Yep.
How would you feel if they traded up to 28, 29, 31, 32 just to get him on the 5th-year rookie deal with the 5th-year option?
I don't want it. No, because I'd rather take at that point, if we're that far back, give me the kid from Ohio. Or if Golden for some crazy reason is all the way back there. I can't, bro. This year, Armand, I've been saying it. I wouldn't be upset if we don't go quarterback at all. Like I really wouldn't. If we go quarterback, I'm hoping it's after the 4th or 5th round. Because I think we need 4 impact players to come in off of rip.
So with your scenario, Armand, right? Like, all right, so you move back into the first round, you get Dart. But do you see any of the quarterbacks that we have now, the veterans, to groom them the right way? Like, isn't it 2 different styles of quarterback play with Tyrod, Justin? Then you bring someone like Jackson Dart.
It's also part of the coaching staff. You can't just bank on the veteran quarterbacks being here to develop them. It's the quarterback coach. It's the OC. They're the ones making the decision on the quarterback of the future. How use Milroe as it? Would you trade up? How would you feel if they traded to 31, 32 for Milroe?
No,
I'm only using Dart because
Oof.
that's the quarterback now with all the news.
I would not. I would not feel good trading up for Milroe. Milroe, the only way I touch Milroe is in the 3rd round. That's the only way. I would not touch Milroe in the 2nd. I think how Panos was saying, even stretching it to the 3rd round, like the first 3 picks have to be immediate contributors. And that's why I put Milroe in there in the 3rd, just to move the change. Again, it's part of the culture change of not giving up on a drive, because every drive is so important to accrue points, right? Like, how many times have we looked at these games? Look at the Pittsburgh Jets game, right? The Jets were ahead, we're looking good, this and that, and then shit hits the fan and we can't move the ball anymore. The offensive line, they can't block anybody. Rodgers is just turned into a pumpkin and whatnot. At least if you have someone like Milroe, again, picked in the 3rd and 1, 2nd and 6, whatever the case is, you put him in there to just move the chains and make it kind of spontaneous. I think that's what we want the most with Tanner Engstrand, right? Like, we want an offense that is out of the box. Like, we've been through these offensive coordinators that we can, right? Correct me if I'm wrong. We can predict what they're going to do. It's 2nd and 8, and we know that the Jets are going to run a draw up the gut. We know it. Like we know it's a draw. 3rd and 1 instead of a bootleg or whatever. No, right off fullback. This whatever the case is, and you get stopped. Now 4th and 1. The crowd is going crazy. Let's go for it. Let's do it. And we get stopped, and the game's over. The game didn't even start yet, and the game's over. That momentum.
Run, pass, punt.
Yeah, Adam Gase, another one. The only one that I will always give a little bit more leniency, maybe you guys might disagree, is Mike LaFleur. Because when he was given an actual quarterback, you saw that the team was kind of moving in the right direction with Mike White and even Josh Johnson, and not Flacco, but you saw something there. And then with Zach Wilson, he just didn't know where his elbow and his ass was. Like, he had no idea. He wasn't ready. He was not ready.
Can you imagine, right, if we would have got Fields and LaFleur was here with him, that have a guy that's been in Ohio that's a lot more cerebral than what Zach Wilson was, and potentially be able to utilize that actual offense to its fullest? Because it was every other quarterback other than Zach that could run that offense. But because Zach was a 2nd pick in that draft itself, they were constantly putting him in. So I always go back to that question. Why is it that quarterbacks come to us, we draft them, and we destroy them, but they go somewhere else and they become better?
Can I give a little pushback on that one? So you're saying instead of Zach Wilson, if we would have drafted Justin Fields with Mike LaFleur as offense coordinator, is that the scenario? Kind of?
Yeah, I think he would have been able to run. I think the problem with Zach, right, because he had the talent, but he didn't have it up here.
Right.
Right. Yep. So I think that was the biggest issue. But when you have Fields, who runs a more pro style ready type of offense over there in Ohio, right, he could have done a lot more, I believe, with us and Matt LaFleur. Oh, Mike LaFleur, whatever the hell his name was, too many LaFleurs, and everything in regards to that.
Yes, but I think New York would have broke him. I think he would have. I think so, New York would have destroyed Justin Fields, knowing that the Jets didn't know how to groom them. I think the best thing that happened to Fields happened. Believe it or not, going to Chicago for 3 years. The market is big. It's a city, but it's not as crazy with daggers thrown at you like New York. Then from there, he goes to Pittsburgh. He gets thrown with a head coach that is a Hall of Fame head coach. And on top of that, he gets the proper tutelage from Russell Wilson.
Yep.
Now, and at 4-2, again, I don't know what the story is. Maybe it's something where I'm thinking that maybe Tomlin did this on purpose in order to develop him the right way, saying you got to be more even keel. Now he comes to New York very seasoned, very to the point where he has a thick skin now. That's why I look at it as we might catch something really good right now.
With experience with his playmaker too. But
Johnny also to his comment, remember, we lost our quarterback coach in an accident. That, and they never probably brought in somebody to be a QB coach after the death of our QB coach to help develop Zach. Putting Fields in that situation, they probably do the same thing. And like Dan said, Fields is probably now a journeyman like Zach to Denver, now in Miami, like not getting $30 million guaranteed and looking to be a starter someplace.
It's a good point, but I see, part of me feels like if we were had we drafted Justin Fields, we'd be bringing in Zach now, So it's just so hard to tell, because the Jets, they don't do especially young quarterbacks any favors. That's true.
I was thinking about that.
I also don't know what Zach would have did in San Francisco, because look at what happened with Trey Lance in San Francisco. Now also injuries played a part with Lance in San Francisco, kind of hindered his development. But, they also deserve some blame in San Francisco. They just don't get it a lot nationally like we do for blowing it with Zach, with Lance, because Brock Purdy saved their ass. It's called what it is.
That's it. Yeah. If once you find the quarterback, that really, Johnny, you say winning is the ultimate deodorant. Really, hitting on your quarterback is the ultimate. Yeah, 100%. Rest in peace, Coach Knapp.
And Snowball beat me to it. There was a lot of stuff that occurred that I think just killed Zach, right? And I mean, a lot of stuff happened to him. Now, I am not nowhere a Zach Wilson truther and all that because I not want the kid, right? I was all about Justin Fields when he was coming out. That's exactly who I wanted because I knew Trevor Lawrence was not going to happen for us or whatever, right? And then, Dan, I did want to say something in regards to Chicago. Chicago's a big market, bro, and they got that crazy lineage from years and years and years and years of football. They're one of the originals in the NFL. So, again, I don't know, but that's just hearsay, she say, whatever now because it's the past. And we can't think about the past. You got to continue to keep moving forward. I think we're in a really good position to win, right? And be able to get a lot of these. Can you imagine, right? It's 4th and 1, and we need this 1 yard to go ahead and close out the game. I think my confidence is a lot higher that I have 2 different things that I could do, 2 different runners in Breeze and in Fields that could potentially get me that yards to go ahead and close the game. Again, I'm excited for the season and stuff. I really was trying not to, right? But the Justin Fields signing for me is the one that did it. And to Liam, the Quan conversation, right? Armand said it. We're going young, man. And I don't know if they would go there. And I really do hope that they extend Quincy.
I do too.
Quincy deserves it.
Yeah, absolutely he does.
He outplayed his contract. And those are guys that you should want to pay. I don't know what the cap is. I don't know if we can. I have no idea.
Cap is fake.
You know what I mean? I agree. I think it's a fugazi, if I'm being honest with it. There's a lot more upside than what a lot of individuals are thinking. Like they're talking about there's so many holes that we have. Low key, they've plugged a lot of the holes and a lot of the issues that we've had. I think we're right now hurting is in tight end and in wide receiver right now. If that's
and defensive line too. We're going to need some quality defensive linemen.
Back 2 up there. Like I want Asante Samuel 25. And if we believe in Aaron Glenn,
I want to touch on this when you're done.
If we believe in Aaron Glenn can fix Sauce, Asante Samuel's probably coming off of from what I read, bad tackling, bad season, not a Harbaugh guy. If we're going to believe in Aaron Glenn and Steve Wilkes and the defensive backs, the secondary coaches to fix Sauce, why not take the chance on a 25-year-old who is still out there right now in free agency for reasons just like a lot of other players are? You could probably get him on a 1-year deal. And, if he's playing well, and let's say we're based on our record, top 10, top 5 for pick come trade deadline, he's playing well and a playoff team needs a corner. He's a guy that's a tradable asset.
I was just going to ask you, why do you think he's still out there?
Bad season. And also, I think right now, with a month away from the draft, so right now on Over the Cap, I looked. The Jets have $27 million in cap space, but you remember you have to take out a certain percentage of the money from the cap for the rookie draft class. So they might not have. They technically don't really have $27 million to go spend right now. Let's just say, for argument's sake, as an example, let's say $10 million is taken out from the 27. The Jets have $17 million. They have to really look at who they are going to bring in from free agency with that $17 million.
And have a stellar draft and stay young.
Yes.
Stay young and cheap. That's the thing too. And it's so unpopular to go defensive, especially defensive line early in the draft. And I'm one of them. I don't want defensive line, but
I will leave
the
this
dude-
show if they go defense in the first round.
you're not going anywhere, my friend. Okay. That being said, yeah, just saying. But with that being said, our defense got ran over like a train. How many times in the fourth quarter did the opposing team just march down the field and cost us the game? Like, it really is a huge hole. It's almost like the whole defense. I mean, outside of Sauce, who's also coming off of a down year, which even Jake said really wasn't a down year for most corners. It's just the bar and the standard that Sauce set for himself did not match up and was not on par with his previous years. But at what round do we start addressing defense? It's going to have to get addressed at some point. We're not really bringing in quality free agents that could fix the defense. More just a couple band-aids here and there. When do you start addressing defense?
I would wait till round 4, Saturday. I think Thursday and Friday got to be offense.
I agree with that 100%.
It has to be. I mean, again, this is an offense-driven league, and I think Aaron Glenn knows that. He knows that, dude, look at where he came from in Detroit. You had an offensive scheme there that defenses had no idea how to attack. No idea. And that's one of the beauty of having someone like Tanner Engstrom. No one knows what the hell he's bringing. So now couple that with Justin Fields. By all means, we have a Tyler Warren, a nasty tight end, a Mark Bavaro / Gronk. What? I want that. I want that on this team.
What are your expectations, Dan? If Tyler Warren, and this is for everybody, what is your statistical expectations taking Tyler Warren at 7?
Okay.
Is it what Brock Bowers did
No.
last year? Because the majority of this fan base is going to look at that and say, look at what Brock Bowers did with Gardner Minshew and Aiden O'Connell.
That's not fair to him.
Try to say Tyler Warren could do that with Justin Fields.
Can I answer that one first?
Yeah.
What did the Raiders have at wide receiver last year?
Look who decided to show up.
What did they have at wide receiver last year after Devontae left? They didn't have nothing. Nothing. So now if Justin Fields has that opportunity to tap into his potential, you have Breece Hall, you have Garrett Wilson, who continues to get 1,000 yards season with trash at quarterback, and that opens up someone like Tyler Warren. Yeah, I'm looking at Brock Bowers' stats and say this guy can do it. Because if Brock Bowers did it with absolutely nothing with the Raiders, then this guy can have something similar. Now, before going on, guys, you're watching. Thank you so much. Again, we're going to be going on a little bit longer than normal. Please hit that subscribe, hit that like button. It definitely helps us out immensely. And thank you for watching. Again, I'm going to post out the link right here. Please call in. Now, what do you guys think, Johnny, Liam? Do you think that this guy can do it? Because I hear that like people say it's unfair, right? It's unfair to say Brock Bowers with his stats and whatnot with Tyler Warren. I think it's very feasible, extremely, that Tyler Warren can put up the same numbers, especially with Fields.
I think he could come close.
So Bowers' statistics from last year.
Yeah.
112 receptions.
Okay.
1,194 yards.
Beautiful.
5 touchdowns.
Okay. And what did he have as a supporting cast? Please enlighten us. What do you have? What do you have at wide receiver?
Jacoby
Nothing.
Myers, I think.
The law firm?
Nobody. Hey, Dan,
Nobody.
And guys, I would have to say this. I think for me, do I think Tyler Warren is a special player? Yes. The battle that I'm having is the position at picking at tight end at 7.
No.
Where I feel like we could potentially go back and he'll still be there for us, because I really believe Sanders is falling. He's going to fall. And I think there's going to be a reach in regards to that. Now, I would love it, and this is to Liam's point, right? I would not be mad at all. Now, I know this is not going to happen. This is me dreaming of anything and whatever, right? If Abdul Carter was to fall, right?
Yeah.
Would you guys not run to the podium and get that dude?
Oh,
No.
I'll leave this show if they take any defensive
Can,
play.
can we?
No,
Can
no,
you stop leaving the show?
You bugging
I'm dead
Armand.
serious.
No,
I
no,
will
bugging,
leave
bro.
Jets
no,
afterburners.
I would absolutely jump on that.
I would
100%.
run,
Not
bro.
even
All right. Well, with that being said,
absolutely.
hello, Afram.
Hello, Liam.
How was Let's Talk Jets?
Was fine.
Yeah, those guys are doing good.
They're doing fine. They ribbed me for about being on every show in the world. But
Hey, that's all right.
Normally, we're not on Monday nights, but
It's okay.
Jake would only make it on Monday night. So we're like, all right, you know what? We'll take it as it is, you know. So
no worries.
we don't want to ruffle any feathers, but
Oh,
why
you
not?
ruffled feathers, Dan, with your tweeting and tagging them. They brought it up at the beginning of the show.
Love it.
Love it.
That's what a
I cannot love
We're
Dan.
we're one big, happy, messed up Jets family.
We all are.
So with
Let's
that
go
being
Mets.
said, with that being said, I don't think it's fair to expect Tyler Warren to have the best tight end rookie season of all time. I don't think that's fair.
Agreed.
Now, with that being said, he could still be very serviceable, you know. But he's also not only known for his pass catching and for his playmaking ability. I like his grit and his attitude.
Exactly.
You need somebody to fire up this team.
He's nasty.
Yeah, with all the superstars you had last year, who was the guy firing up the team? Devontae came in and tried to do it halfway through the season. It didn't work. They just knew that the writing was on the wall last year, which is kind of why we got rid of a lot of those guys. We're bringing in our own guys now, our new guys. But he's also known for his blocking. Right now, we don't have that right tackle. Not saying that Tyler Warren's going to play right tackle, but if we have to settle for whatever it's going to be at right tackle, maybe a subpar guy, we don't get Armand Bembu or whoever, we might be seeing more of a blocking guy. So don't be surprised if that's the case too. He's going to contribute in more than one way. I can guarantee you that.
Can I counter that? So when
Sure.
was Brock Bowers selected? 13th? 14th? How much?
13th.
13th. We select him at 7. Expectations are high, and he better rookie year get to that point. I mean, the expectations are high at 7.
If we're going to be ground and pound and running the ball, he's not going to get 1,100 yards and 112 receptions.
We don't know what the offense is. We have no idea. But at 7, we're not drafting a blocking tight end. I need a game changer tight end, as nasty as he is. I want to see him get at least close 800 yards, 900 yards.
Just remember last week I brought up the tight ends since 2014, where they were selected in the first round, and the 3 top 10 tight ends, where the teams that they were selected by, Hawkinson at pick 8 didn't get to be a better tight end until he got traded to the Vikings.
Because they use them differently.
Right.
That's all it comes down to. Right? It's how you use the player.
Kyle Pitts, pick 4, generational talent. Not a generational talent.
Is he available? If you had a chance, right, to trade for Kyle Pitts, right, and then at 7 you can get Tet McMillan, would that be? I think it would be an enormous upgrade there. You would tackle tight end and wide receiver, but is he available?
I loved Armand's what he told me last week when he said we go back and Pittsburgh gives us their third, a first next year, and Darnell Washington. You fixed a lot of problems right then and there because we have more players to go ahead and get. But would that happen? I have no idea. Boys, I gotta head out. I just wanted to come through, show some love.
Appreciate you, man.
I believe in what they're doing. Again, Tyler Warren, I think he's going to be a great player. The problem I'm having is picking a tight end at 7. You said Bowers got picked at 14. That's what I'm saying in regards to that.
But if he's your guy, does it really matter? If he's gonna be an offensive weapon.
if that guy
contribute more than one way.
if that guy potentially is still gonna possibly be there at 9, and I could get more capital for him.
Who's going to trade up 2 spots though?
If Sanders
Also,
falls,
who's there to trade up for?
if
Right.
Sanders falls, I'm telling you, the Saints are getting that dude, and I could see us trade
I
with
could see
Sam,
that.
go back, and that's only 2 picks. Who's the next one after that? Right? It's
Tyler
Carolina,
Warren.
right? No, it's Carolina.
Carolina's at 8. The Saints are at 9. The Bears are at 10.
I see Carolina going for Genty if Genty is, because they need a running back.
Hey, listen, if we could trade back and get him,
They have
absolutely.
Chuba Hubbard, and they gave him an extension. I don't think they would go Genty. I think if they were going to go offense, they would go weapon, maybe McMillan. Maybe they would take Tyler Warren to pair up with Tommy Tremble.
True. But I appreciate you guys. The only person that could fix this is Afram.
Hey, me.
You guys already know that. I've been saying that multiple times. Just after burners all day, every day. Smash the like, hit the sub. You guys already know what time it is.
Jets Worldwide this Friday, Johnny?
Jets Worldwide this
yeah.
Friday at 7:30. Come in, come show some love, guys.
You already know what's up.
Afram, it was there. We're waiting for Armand. We thought he was going to show up this upcoming Friday, but
I had some family obligations.
Down. But let's go Mets, baby. The season's getting ready to start over here. I'm excited. I'm hyped, man. I think Holmes is the first pitcher to open up the season.
Yes, Holmes versus Framber Valdez on Thursday, 4:00.
Is that Clay Holmes?
Yes.
Clay Holmes.
Mike Clay Holmes?
Soto.
There's a difference there from he's a starter, not a reliever. I've heard it all. I've heard all the complaints from Yankee fans.
I didn't say nothing. Good luck.
No, I know you. I know you're not. I'm just saying. I've heard all the complaints, and my only argument is he's being used every 5th day, and he's used as a starter, and he has a 6-pitch mix.
That's how I'm used at home.
Yes.
And hello, I'm here. Later, guys.
Later, man. So if we get that argument with Bowers, right? Like knowing what we know now, maybe selecting a tight end 7th overall is not that much of a reach. If you know that that's the production that you're going to be getting out of a tight end, like if we reset everything of last year, I think Bowers gets taken pretty high last year, knowing what we know now.
How far do you go back?
1 year.
No.
He's talking about trading back.
Trading back. How far do you go back?
Trading out of 7. Like how far?
And hoping you still get a Warren.
All right, let's bring this up. Let's bring Tankathon up here, and you will tell me. This is the top 15, because beyond 15, the guy's going to be gone. I don't even think he passes 10.
I don't think he gets past 13, and you're not trading with Miami.
No, 100%. Knock that out.
Let me ask you this: are the 5 guys projected after him any better than him?
I don't see it.
It's a very good question.
Doesn't Chicago need a tight end?
Cole Kmet.
But he's no Warren though.
We don't know what Warren is in the NFL. So Cole Kmet right now is.
You don't know what Cole Kmet is either. We're just basing on their college stats.
But exactly, like Brock Bowers, no one knew what he was last year based off of a gritty tight end like that. He was very old school. A lot of teams want that. It's very hard to get. I mean, would Carolina pass up on him?
Yeah,
No,
can I intrigue you?
They would take him.
They wouldn't take him?
We have 100 viewers right now. I don't know where the hell you guys are watching. YouTube is the place to be. We appreciate anywhere that you're watching. That's why we're on multiple different platforms.
So,
YouTube is the best place to support us. I just want to throw that out there. But
awesome.
We thank you wherever you are watching from.
So Cole Kmet's best season was 2023, 73 receptions, 719 yards, and 6 touchdowns. Last year, he had 47 catches, 474 yards, and 4 touchdowns. But they had more weapons in Chicago last year. They had Adunze, they had Keenan Allen, they had DJ Moore. Like, you brought in more, so that's gonna take less targets, whatever, away.
And imagine this too. Imagine we do trade back, we somehow miss on Warren. Jeff fans, and he turns out to be a real stud. 2 years in a row, they missed out on tight ends. 2 generational tight ends. That's what the
But it's
argument's
also
going
who
to
the
be.
Jets take over him if they were to stay at 7.
Hmm.
Oh, it's
So-
Caleb Williams. Oh, in 2023, it was Justin Fields, but Justin Fields had DJ Moore too, and DJ Moore helped out Cole Kmet to get those targets.
Right. That's what I'm saying. So now, like if we go through this, I know that this Thursday you guys are going to be doing a mock draft, right?
Yes.
That's the plan.
Love it. Because all right, so we look at. Do you see anywhere here the top 6 where Warren gets taken?
So
I would say New England, maybe Jacksonville, 4 or 5. They got to get something for Drake May, and Jacksonville's lost weapons on the offensive side. They just got Brian Thomas and ETN and Bigsby. What's the other weapon in Jacksonville? They cut Kirk, or they
Right.
traded Kirk.
Because you figure it's Ward, Hunter, or Shador. I think it's going to be Hunter. I'm sorry, Ward, Shador, Hunter, the pass rusher from Penn State,
Carter.
Carter.
I think Cleveland takes Carter.
Cleveland takes
Match him up
Carter.
with
Garrett.
Garrett.
Hmm.
that'd be huge.
But go
But
with
they
your
haven't-
prediction first, Dan. Then I'll
Or
give
maybe
you my.
maybe to match up with Garrett is Quinnen. Oh.
Hmm.
Bookends.
I mean, just my opinion. I think it's going to be Ward, Shador. Then here it's going to be Hunter. Here it's going to be again the guy from Penn State. Offensive line. I honestly I think it's going to be Will Campbell or
Who's
Membo.
Vegas' running back?
You got me on that one.
Oh,
Or
they have the kid. What the hell's his name?
Well, they got Ginty. They probably go Ginty. And now the Jets have the choice of Ted McMillan or Warren. And to me, whoever they choose, I'm good with. Like if it comes down to that, to me, I will not lose sleep. I will be so content if the Jets have that opportunity to say whichever one is there, perfect. I'm good with.
Or they take the right tackle though.
No, in my scenario, Membo was taken by
New England?
Vegas. No. New England took the Penn State guy, Allen
Yeah, so Dan has Carter going forward to the
Carter.
Patriots,
What about?
and then he has Campbell going to Jacksonville and Membu going to Vegas.
Right.
Dan doesn't love me after me. Doesn't love Armand.
I like Armand.
I love you, Armand.
I like you. Love is too strong.
Who?
No.
Who
Love
cannot
is,
like-
love
who
is the
cannot
way
love
to
you?
describe my relationship with Armand.
The
No,
Raiders running
I
back
would
is Zamir
never
White.
leave.
Zamir White.
If we get a kicker,
They
yes.
could take Genty at 6.
Would make sense.
I
If
mean,
we get a
Pete-
kicker in the first round, I'm extending you and I.
Pete Carroll loves to run the ball. And I mean, look at the running back free agent class. Nobody's really been signed. So, like, I could see Vegas taking Genty at 6.
Probably. Yeah, that's a possibility.
So I'll say Ward goes Tennessee 1. I'm going to say Carter goes 2 to Cleveland.
Look at this. 5
I'm
and
going to
12.
say Hunter goes 3 to the Giants.
Mhm.
I say New England takes Campbell, the offensive lineman from Ohio State.
Yep.
I'll say Mason Graham goes to Jacksonville.
Is he that good, man? Like, maybe I'm not seeing things right, but is Mason Graham that freaking good?
I heard
Is he that?
he lost
Damn.
20 pounds,
Good.
and they're concerned about that.
Is he Quinnen Williams good? Like 12 sacks, Quinnen Williams, not like the past 2 years, Quinnen Williams. Is he that
Only
good,
time will
guys?
tell.
Like Armand, is
Only
he
time
that
will
good?
I just think this class is like if he was the only guy, like because you hear about Walter Nolan, you hear about his teammate, they're making noise early second round. possibly late first round. I mean, look at the Chiefs. They lost a few guys on the defensive line. I mean, would it shock you that they took?
The drop off after him is
Do you need
not
Prilosec, Dan? Is that
as
what's going on there?
much as the tight ends are with the Warren.
Do you see the Raiders doing something crazy and doing the 2 tight end set?
They already got it there. They got it with Mayer and Bowers, and they're shopping Mayer.
The 3 tight end set?
It wouldn't make sense to trade Mayer and then take Warren at 6.
Cheaper.
Mayer's still on his rookie deal.
Yeah.
What would the Jets have to give up to get Meyer?
Maybe a
Mayer.
4th or 5th. I'm not.
Why not? Why not do it?
I would trade a day 3 pick for Mayer
and then get Ted McMillan.
I take Armand Membu. He's my number 1 guy. I want to copy what the Chargers did. And I looked up J.K. Dobbins, who was with the Chargers last year after they took Joe Alt.
Yeah.
His best season, 905 rushing yards, 9 touchdowns. His rookie season was 805 rushing yards and 9 touchdowns. If we get Membu at 7.
What's that? Is it good? You all right?
I'm
all
right.
joking. I'm fine.
Yeah, hawk something up there.
I don't think Ephraim said the tight end.
Oh my God. I thought it was a player outside of the box that we might be targeting. There was like some. Not even gonna go.
I have 5 players.
It was canceled.
Selecting at 7. Membu number 1. I have Warren number 2. Number 3 is going to shock you. It is a receiver, but it's not McMillan.
Oh, the guy from Ohio State.
Matthew Golden. He's been going up draft boards. I've been reading and stuff.
I like that.
Number 4, you're going to disagree with me. If he's there, Shador. Number 5, I got McMillan.
But hold on a second. Let's tackle Shador. All right. I get it. I get it. He's the 2nd best quarterback in this draft. But it doesn't scare you. Like, it doesn't scare you that it's Dion's kid, and this is already a circus with the New York Jets. Keep in mind, the New York Jets.
Did you not see what Dion said today?
Geno Smith gets punched in the jaw. Sam Darnold has mono.
Zach Wilson banged my mom. He banged my mom.
Now we have this guy, gold chains, dad. It doesn't scare you.
With Kirk Cousins, did you not see that in Minnesota? Like, what would that have been here in New York?
We're talking about,
gold chains. Talking about gold chains. Don't have a double standard for Shador and Cousins with gold chains. Have the same thing, Dan.
His dad. Maybe
a quarterback at 7.
Maybe Kirk Cousins' dad is Dion too. Maybe.
Listen,
right.
If Shador's there at 7, it has to be an option.
Did somebody say gold chains?
And look at what did you see, Dan? Did you see what Dion said today?
What did he say?
He was asked where he says he hopes that his son gets to play in New York. He didn't say the Giants. Like, he made it a generalization. Like, he's okay with his son coming to the Giants or the Jets
or the Bills.
He hopes to be playing in New York.
Maybe the Bills.
You know what a distraction he would be. Again, you have Aaron Glenn, Mooj that they have worked their asses off to get to this point, and now they have to contend with
the
someone.
Quarterback position. It's always going to be front and center for New York.
Yes, get a quarterback that's invested 100%. I don't need to hear the dad. Like, look at like LaMelo Ball, Lonzo Ball. When they came here, you had to hear the dad, a guy that freaking tried out for the Jets. I remember that.
We don't hear about the dad now with them
because they suck. We don't even hear about them anymore. They're trash. They're done.
Is injury prone. He's hurt too many times.
Poor guy.
Listen, play New York. Shador could play New York when he's on the team that comes and visits.
Yeah. Listen. Yeah, I also do not want Shador. Like, not my clowns, not my circus. We have our own.
No matter what quarterback we take, there's gonna be a circus.
We already have the quarterback.
But this is on steroids. It's on. It's amplified.
We have one jacked clown.
Yeah, his name is Woody Johnson.
Well, yes.
Woody's Johnson. What a great name, though. God bless him. That,
Johnson's Woody.
what
What
a
about Johnson's
blessing.
Woody?
Woody Richard Johnson.
So you'd rather go defense over Shador?
Yes. I
What
don't
about
want
Brick
that
Johnson?
draw. Or this kid. Yes, Armand. I do not want Shador, man. I don't want him. Again, the player I want. Armand, let's make it straight up.
And I understand what you're saying. You would take the play, but any quarterback coming to New York, it's going to be a circus.
But not
in the first
that
round.
circus.
Even if it's next year.
Different circus, bro.
Different. This is like the guy hasn't even played yet. And Dion is probably already chirping. That's the problem. Dion is the problem, not the son. Dion talking about, I have confidence in the ownership of the Jets and the coach and this. Then they start playing. Then they lose a game. Yeah, well, they put my son in like the worst position. What he can't do much without an offensive line,
Well, when the Jets are playing, Dion's going to be playing. It's college football season.
He's going to be watching, though. He's going to know what the hell.
I'm not saying he's not going to watch, but he's going to be more into his team and coaching.
No way. That's his son. That's his son, man. Like he would be all up on that. I can't.
I don't think so.
It'd be a media circus.
If Shador's parents were Homer and Marge Simpson, I'd be okay. No problem.
That's a circus too.
Nope. It's good. You just give him a box of donuts and they are good. But this guy, I can't, man. I'm sorry. I hear what you're saying. If he was just a normal quarterback with no baggage in the back, no problem. But I can't.
They all have baggage when they come to New York.
Not that kind of baggage. They don't have Dion.
Zach's mother was baggage when we drafted him on social media.
She's a nice lady, all right?
She has fun bags.
She is a nice, That's a good point.
Sorry.
Pick a quarterback fourth round or later. You don't need a quarterback that early.
I'm with you, man. Not for a team that's trying to find their identity, culture change. You need gritty guys. You can't have drama in there, man.
He's fourth for me, just to let you know, my top 5 guys that I would want.
Fourth. Okay. So I'd rather go with the first 3.
Remember, I said Membu number 1 to copy the Chargers.
Yeah.
I had Warren number 2. I have Matthew Golden number 3. I have Shador 4, and I got McMillan 5.
Now you go.
I've been very vocal about not even drafting a quarterback in this draft. Too many holes.
I have no issue with that.
Too many holes.
But it seems to be a consensus. You just always draft a quarterback every year.
I'd like to know. I know. I'd like to know what the hell is going on with Jordan Travis. Like, does he have his legs still?
I think he's a non-factor right now.
He's a non-factor.
Adrian Martinez.
I'm with it.
That's a practice squad guy.
Ted the Jet. I like that. Ted the Jet. That's a good one. I like that. It's good.
What about Warren the Jet?
I'm good with that, man. I'm really good with that. Guys, listen, we're going to wrap this up if you guys don't mind.
Warren are going to be extremely high. Picking him at 7 and what Bowers did last year. And I'm not saying he can't do the statistics of what Bowers did. That's not going to be my expectations for him.
That's fine. My expectations is he makes a difference in that offense.
Mm-hmm.
Whether he's assisting in other guys scoring or he's scoring himself. He changes the schemes for he's another option that he can do. He's multifaceted. That's what I like.
Yes.
Yeah. And there's only 2 people that can have Warren get that production. The offensive coordinator, who puts him in a good position with play calling, and the quarterback getting him the ball.
That's in every scenario. No matter what team he goes to, any of these players, no matter what team they go to, they have to rely on the coaching staff.
And there's one ball that goes to each position. So if Field is always throwing the ball to let's say Warren, Garrett's statistics are not going to be there. And people are going to say, what's wrong with Garrett? Whether it's getting double teamed or Fields not getting him the ball. And then the running backs throwing them the ball out of the backfield or handing it off to them.
Oh my God.
If you're winning, you can't complain.
Future
I
of the
know
New York
it's the
Jets.
greatest deodorant that cures everything.
It's there.
Oof.
That's the
Second-
object. It's a team
second to
game.
Old
It's not
Spice.
an individual.
I can't. I mean, I don't mind. I mean, give this kid a chance, but what do you guys think? Does he make the team?
No. Practice squad, yes.
How old is he? Looks like he's just out of high school.
He is 25 years old because it's simple math here. He was born on in January 7, 2000.
Yeah, he's
25.
done.
He's done.
25 years old.
25 years old. He's young. I'm okay.
He'll go
So
play in
is
the UFL.
Whoa.
So is Fields.
Field is 27.
6'2", 220 pounds.
He looks 25.
Yeah. Afram, do I
man.
look 25?
You look young. You look like you're 22.
Really?
Yeah.
Thank you.
How much does Adrian Martinez make? Oof.
It's the minimum.
$20 an hour.
$40,000.
800,000 a year, I think it is.
No, he makes
No.
$20 an hour.
He makes $840K for not even playing this year. So take
I'm
out the
listening to
taxes. How much is that? Take out the taxes.
I
Say
don't know. I'm not a payroll guy.
No, but
You're
in
a
all
cap
honesty, 620 clean at least 840, 620 at
He's
least.
not hurting.
He's not hurting. He's not hurting.
He don't got to go to McDonald's and flip burgers.
No,
Unless he
no.
wants to, of course.
He owns a McDonald's.
He could go be an Uber Eats driver just, to make a little bit of side money.
Oh my God.
He's 840,000. He's a cap hit for 840,000.
Look at his stats here.
It's pretty good.
Not impressive. Not impressive. Nebraska. Ugh. Give me a break.
Impressive enough to get 840,000.
Oh my God.
That's who Woody Johnson wants to pay.
He has no choice. I think that's the
Barney, so did Jack Trudeau for the New York Jets, throwing bombs at Stevie Anderson. It's no. You remember that, right, Afram? No. Crickets.
Yeah, no, I remember a lot of different things.
The Jets are kings in preseason, man.
Yeah.
What was the other guy? What's Oh my God.
How
We
many
had a
freaking quarterbacks we had.
We had a receiver, white kid. What's his name?
Chris
About
Hogan?
not Chris Hogan. Scott
Corbett?
something. Scott something. It was a practice squad player that lit it up.
Scott
In-
Frost?
No, Scott Frost was a free safety.
Yeah.
Jack Frost?
Maybe. I know that the name's gonna, because the Jets always have really good wide receivers in the preseason. Then they just let them go. Like then we had Danny Woodhead, running back. Loved him.
And got rid of him.
Got rid of him. Destroyed us with the Pats.
Hey, you remember that time when Mo Lewis heard
Drew
You know.
Bledsoe.
Drew
Yeah.
Bledsoe, and then that guy Tom Brady came in?
I remember that vividly. I remember that. I remember when Boomer Esiason threw it to Eric Allen, and he.
That
Did,
killed me. That
Jaleel
killed me.
Oh my
Scott?
God!
Remember
It's
that
like a
time the Jets played
99
Elway in 98?
99-yard return or something like that.
Right.
Whirlwind.
Remember when Vinny went down?
Remember when Rodgers went down? And Sam got mono?
Hey.
Wow.
Remember
Jaleel
when
Scott?
Richard Todd threw it twice to the same guy on the other team for the Dolphins and AJ Dewey?
Twice?
Wasn't it twice?
5 times.
Remember when Richard Todd threw it to AJ Dewey 5 times?
Yeah.
Do it.
Remember that time Aaron Glenn thought it was going to be a spike?
Remember when we went 1-15?
Remember when we went 2-14?
Remember Browning Nagel?
Remember when we went 5-12 with Aaron Rodgers and Devontae Adams?
Remember when I was happy?
Remember when Gino broke his jaw?
Remember
That
when
was
Sam
fun.
had
Remember when we beat the Rams and and missed out on Trevor Lawrence?
Remember when Zach contracted AIDS?
Remember when Mims had food poisoning?
Remember when Elijah Moore wanted a trade?
When it was 7-4.
Remember when Armand had regular hair color?
Yeah.
Oh,
Remember-
memories.
Oh, damn.
Oh,
The person
man.
you're thinking of is Jaleel Scott. He played with us in 2020.
Jaleel Scott. Isn't that the guy that played Urkel?
That's Jaleel White.
Oh, I'm sorry. No, that's not the guy I'm talking about. No. It wasn't Jaleel Scott. It's another guy. It was another kid. McKnight.
when?
McKnight. Scott
Joe
McKnight.
Joe McKnight?
No, not Joe. Scott. Scott McKnight.
Don't
I know
remember
that.
that one.
No, come on. Stop, guys.
I gotta look this one up.
Yeah, no, I'll pull it up here. That dude was the man. And then the Jets are like, you're doing way too good. We're going to cut you. Here.
Oh, he
McKnight.
was 7th round pick out of Colorado in 2011
I have him as an American scholar.
from North Beach, California.
No way this is him, right?
Oh, the
Yeah.
Is that
he, yeah, he's 34 in that picture. He aged pretty bad. Remember?
the Jets would do that to you?
Oh my god.
He actually became an actor.
He was acting on the field too.
Oh my god. Memories, man. Memories. Shoot.
I'm sorry.
We could do a whole Remember When show.
We should. We should. Anybody have any remember when memories on the chat? Go right ahead. Let's see what we got here. I mean,
We have one from Snowball. Remember we thought Robert Sala was the man?
oh look, even my microphone had it.
Remember when you had a nice microphone?
Remember?
Not an actor. He's a
Unbelievable.
producer because he produced some things. I'm looking at it right
Whoa.
now.
Yeah, on the
PG,
hub.
Armand.
No, it's on his Wikipedia.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
it's stuff for NFL Network, Sports Illustrated TV, Fox, and CBS.
I'm actually
Oh, he was a
making this as
writer.
one
He's a
of,
writer too.
one of my favorites here.
Oh, the butt
Worst
fumble.
Jet
How
moment.
did we not mention the butt
This is
fumble?
amazing. Barney, thank you. Fake spike, butt fumble, mud bowl, fail Mary, seeing ghost. That sucked. The ghost thing. Like, he knew he was mic'd up. He's like, oh my god, there's a ghost out there.
Monday
Always
night.
with the hair. Always with the
Yeah.
hair.
Oh, drafting O'Brien. Barney, because then we can go on a litany of memory lane with the Jets drafted Al Toon instead of Jerry Rice. We could have drafted Emmett Smith instead of Blair Thomas.
Drafting Vernon
Patrick Mahomes
Golston,
over.
Thomas was
trading up
good.
for Dwayne Robertson.
Goslett ruined him.
No, Blair Thomas was horrendous after.
No, he was good when we had him in the beginning. And Coslett
I'm gonna-
lost the.
I'm going to say the butt fumble because it followed us for so many years.
That's to me a worst Jet moment is when they lose a game on a stupid play or something happens.
Like
The
a Hail
Derek
Mary.
They were down
Carr.
45 points when he slid in the guy's ass.
He just wanted to run for cover.
That's
I-
it.
you know why that sucks? Because it was Thanksgiving.
Yeah, he wanted to. What is that? Stuffed turkey. is the wrong.
Funny story about that. I wanted to go to that game. It was either go there or go to WrestleMania 29.
It was
You went to
My parents
WrestleMania?
got me
I think it
WrestleMania
was-
tickets.
How
And
is
I
that?
thank the
81?
Lord.
I don't know if you go back. 81.
Was that at MetLife?
Richard
Yeah.
Todd had like a streak going, and they were playing Buffalo the last game of the season
Okay.
or playoffs, and then they get it down to like the 5, and they could have won the game. And he throws a pick, and that ended the chance.
That is so hurtful. I got to be honest.
That kills you because they were so hot going into the to the end of the season, and that just one play, you think, wow, boom, we lose it on an interception.
But we had a bunch of those moments last year. That's
Yeah.
what sucked. Like with Rodgers against the Vikings, we're like right there, interception or whatever the case is. Then against the Broncos, to me, it's the missed field goals. That and throwing an interception, they go hand in hand. Like the kicker, that's your job. I get it. Like the weight of the shoulder, everything is on your shoulders, but You gotta make these, man. It's gotta be automatic.
What about the 10-6 season? And then the guy was it who was the guy that dropped the ball when he had it in his hands? He would have scored. He got hit
In
against
2015?
Buffalo. Against Buffalo.
Oh, Kimbrel Tompkins.
Kimbrel
Yeah.
Tompkins. Yeah.
Oh man, that one hurt the most. That one hurt a lot.
2004, Doug Bryan missing the field goal twice. Whatever it was.
So what hurts more, the 98 AFC Championship or the 2009 2010 ones?
98.
98, right?
98 hurt. 98 and 2010.
I'll tell you what, I'm
Both
I'm
of those.
sick. I just went back and rewatched the 98 game on YouTube.
I
I'm
saw
sick.
in the history. I
The
said, why
Mud
would you do
Bowl
that?
kills me. The Mud Bowl kills me. We had such a better team, but we played
That-
in that
Is that your worst? Is that your worst Jet
because we
moment?
were a faster team, and then the league didn't do anything about covering covering the field in the rain on a AFC Championship game, which was bullshit.
I have a question for you, Afram, because in '86 the Jets went 10-1 to start off the season. Then we went on a little low. We went into the playoffs. I believe Walton played Pat Ryan. We beat the Chiefs. Then we go to Cleveland. Had we won that Cleveland game and we played against the Broncos, and we would have won, we would have faced the Giants in the Super Bowl. Jets, Giants, that game right there. Who wins?
That's a tough one.
It is a tough one, and it's crazy because I think about that.
It would have been a tremendously defensive game because both
Both,
the front lines were tough.
dude, out of this world. That would have been such a great game. I'm going to say the Jets.
Pat Ryan was like fearless. He'll wait the last second, get rid of the ball, and take the hit and get bounced right back up.
He had
And
a
he was
strong
more-
arm.
He was more mobile than Sims too.
Oh, so wait a minute. So you're saying that we would have gotten to the Super Bowl with Pat Ryan as a starter, not Ken O'Brien?
Well, it depends if O'Brien was healthy again, because Pat Ryan was with the Chiefs against the Chiefs, right?
Pat Ryan was against the Chiefs, but then O'Brien got the nod in Cleveland,
Okay.
right? And we had that game won until again these
Or
are some.
fumble or something like that.
No,
I
that
don't
was the
remember the
one
game.
where Gastineau started dancing.
Every game he danced.
Yeah, but they chose that one to give the 15-yard penalty, and it just switched the whole thing, which was not cool, man. Like the Jets should have had at least 3 Super Bowls in their bank. That the Mud Bowl, that one, then '86, '98.
I don't know about them if they won. It would have been a good game against Washington.
With John. That's the one with John Riggins, right?
Right. Yeah. Because
Oh,
he had a great year that year.
Right. That's the Super Bowl where the kicker not whiffed, but he tried passing. It was like the Dolphins kicker tried to pass and
Yeah. I gotta remember. I gotta watch the game. It's been so long, but it's
Don't do it to yourself.
yeah, and it doesn't make a difference. No, I'm saying the Redskins had a more solid team. They ran all over
Thanks.
Miami.
I don't know.
that's our first Twitch viewer. Thanks.
That's a bot.
Yes. Now, you know what?
All right.
Barney's right. Let's go best Jets moments.
I didn't even go my worst Jet moment.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead. Let's keep
The playoff, not 2010 against the Steelers. I think it was 04. Doug O'Brien, our kicker, missing those field goals.
Hey, no, O'Brien. All right, Brian. Come on, man.
O'Brien,
I was
Doug
at that game. That's what hurts even more.
Oh,
I was younger at that time, and I was just
I
so
was sitting there with 3 buddies and surrounded by a bunch of drunken haters.
Was that the last game you've been to?
No, I've been to that. I was game this last season. I was at the Colts game this past season.
nice. Let us know when you guys are going to a game. We'll go as
Well,
well.
my sister-in-law got me tickets. One of her vendors. I had a box.
Oh,
Yeah, I was
I
sitting
like
in
boxes.
I was sitting in there, and it was very comfortable. You had
What-
TV,
What was that like? How's the food?
fantastic. Food's excellent.
What'd you get? What was your food?
I don't know. They had quesadillas. They had all kinds of different things there.
Nice.
It was
Steak?
sandwiches, all drinks that you want. And
Ribeyes.
nah, it depends on what the guy who owns the box
Okay.
orders. Yeah.
All right. Best Jet moments. What do you think? Top three.
I have a biased one just because I was there. The Mike White game.
Yeah.
That's one of mine.
The Monday Night Miracle.
That was a good one.
Yeah. For me, I go back a while. There was Jets in Miami they hated each other with a passion. Not like, worse than it was with New England. 2 minutes left. Todd this was a national TV. This was on Channel 4. 2 minutes. They take him down. He throws a pass to Jerome Barkham, ties the game, extra point, wins the game. They replayed that 2 minutes on the news at night. The following week, because it was such a spectacular 2 minutes during pregame, they played that 2 minutes again. That's how it was so powerful. They played it again on the pregame before the Jet game, the whole 2 minutes. That was incredible for me because I was a lot younger. That game was just hated. When you hate the team that you're playing against, especially it was Miami, and they just come and they run down Scott Durking, Mickey Shula, and then he hits Jerome Barkham right in the gut.
That was 81, right?
81 or 82, and it was in Shea Stadium, and it's on YouTube.
Yeah.
If you ever,
Jesus,
here we go, Strike City.
They have the live.
There's no draft coming Thursday.
Yeah,
they have the live version somewhere with taped. You want to hear a crowd?
Yeah, there he is.
You want to hear a crowd that's it. You listen to that game and you hear that when he scores, you hear such a loud noise from the crowd. They were all going crazy. And they were all Jet fans in the stands. Different time when they're playing in Shea Stadium.
He was such a nice guy. I got the pleasure of meeting him about 2 years ago. Big guy, like very humble, cordial, and sharp, man, really sharp. And he was telling me about that game, I believe. And then you reminded me. I went on YouTube and I watched the whole thing. And when you watch those games and you're reliving it, and I was probably 6 months old or whatnot. So going back and watching history and seeing that, man, the Jets aren't. I get it that we've had like bad luck in our past, this and that, but we've had our moments, man. We've had, again, even remembering about great times. 91, last game of the season against the Dolphins, going into Joe Robbie Stadium with second-year head coach Bruce Coslett, winning that game with a kicker by the name of Raul Allegre, because Pat Leahy got injured or whatever the case is.
Allegre was with prior to that. Was he with the Colts or was he the Chiefs?
Who, Allegre?
Raul Allegre, yeah, he was
with the Giants.
I think before the Giants also. He was with
probably the Colts.
Probably the Colts.
Yeah,
he against the Colts at Giant Stadium, 41-0.
Oh wow, that's the playoff game.
That's my highlight.
Yeah, no, that was great. There's so many you can choose because you remember those ones all the time.
Beating New England in the playoffs in 2010.
That was the big to me. Yeah,
beating New England
because it was in New England
in overtime.
Exactly.
That was another good one.
So far, we have to agree that was the last best Jets win in recent history, right? What comes close to that? I don't think any game comes close to that right now.
Beating the Bills week 1 when Rodgers went down. That's close. That
was a good game too.
It was a good game, but nothing like the Pats game in 2010 in that playoff game.
Would we have that same feeling if it was here in New Jersey? It makes it more sweeter, more memorable because we beat them in Foxborough.
Yes, 100%.
Because they didn't. They haven't. They never lost at Foxborough, right? Or something like that.
Oh, and then weeks prior, they destroyed us on Monday Night Football, like 45.
That's when we buried the ball,
45-3.
right? Did we bury the ball after that?
We did.
Yeah, Rex buried the ball and everything.
Should have buried
And
it somewhere.
I was hyped for that Monday night game. I told that I shut off my phone. I closed my door. When the playoff game was coming, I was ready for the worst.
Back when you had a functioning light switch, you shut the light off.
Instead of putting a fork in there in the socket.
Had good moments.
Now he disconnects the wires.
That's it. Yeah, there are great moments in Jet history, man. I mean, yes, I get it. We always harp on the negatives and whatnot. That's why I look at this season and I'm like, there's hope. There is hope. There's gotta be, man. I mean, like we finally maybe we got lucky. Finally,
you know what it is? It's been so many bad moments for
Let's see what they do after the draft, and see if they do anything with free agents after the draft. And come June,
you're
after
right.
they make a few more cuts.
You're right. But just how
And they'll have
we're
more
going
money
right
too.
now. Yes, exactly. Just the way how we're going right now, it just seems like it has the propensity of something special. And you're right. It all depends on the draft. Like at 7, who do we get? We keep going in circles, but just the draft class in general, what are they looking for? Obviously you always hear the high quality guys and team first oriented. I get that. Young guys, but let's see what we got. I mean, I'm stoked because there's an unknown factor. And I think that always bodes well with the Jets when it's unknown and our expectations are low.
Kind of like last year as a Met fan with the Mets going into last season.
Right.
Low expectations. They really didn't spend like big contracts. Like they brought in Minaya, they brought in Severino. My president kept saying it was going to be an evaluation year.
Let me ask you this: what were your expectations on your manager when they first hired him? Did you anticipate the team playing the way they are?
No.
Interesting, isn't it?
Because I didn't know Mendoza that well.
No one made a thing that was a great hire or anything like that. It was just
no. And tell you the truth, when they were looking for the manager, every Met fan, including me, I'm going to include myself in this. The expectation was Craig Counsell because the rumors were he was going to leave Milwaukee, and come to the Mets. And all he did was he wanted to leave Milwaukee, but he wanted to stay close to Milwaukee, and he went to the Cubs. And you know what? I don't know if we do that same run with him as manager. I'm not saying he's a bad manager. I don't know if that same thing happens last year.
But what happens? The guy coaches a team. They love him, and look what happened.
The best thing he talked about was building relationships with the players as individuals, and then coming together as a team. I don't know what happens with Counsell as manager last year. Exactly. I don't know if we make it to the NLCS.
Yeah. So right now it's an unknown, but the steps they've taken to build the coaching staff, add Spielman, and they're doing things right, which I like. We never saw this before. You could say that too, Dan, right? There was never like that. Never. It would just be a coach's hire, and you never heard from the GM as much as you hear from GMs now. It was usually just the head coach. Let's hope for the best, I
think so, man. I honestly, I think probably Garrett's going to get an extension very soon. Probably maybe after the draft, once everything gets settled.
Yeah, we'll see.
And then we'll see. We'll see how it goes. I mean,
that's it.
We'll take it one step at a time. But anyway, listen, I want to say thank you to everyone that came on tonight. Jake Asman, wow, man, just big time, man. But just the dude is a boss right now. Never sleeps. Always talking about the Jets. Show kicks ass all the time. Again, Armand, Afram, Johnny Boy coming on here. The people in the chat, man, wow, dude, you guys always bring so much knowledge there. You make us laugh sometimes, but it's great stuff. Again, if you guys haven't done so already, hit the subscribe button on YouTube. It helps our algorithm a lot just to grow. Smash that like button. With that being said, definitely join us this Thursday night at 9 p.m. where Liam and Armand will be doing a draft.
And Afram.
And Afram.
I don't know. I'm getting heat from everybody.
You never get heat from us, man.
Listen,
No,
you could help us out with this draft, but draft day you go with Tyson and PT.
Yeah. I don't think I was on the draft on the last one. I just watch it until they pick, and then we move on.
See if you come on to ours.
Guys, have a great night, man. Peace
talk.
out. Go Jets.
Peace out. Be well.
Later.
Quarterback, Ken O'Brien of California Davis.
Just 14 that first time, now going long. They got a wide open man, and he makes the catch. It's Braylon Edwards taking off. Braylon Edwards will take it home for the touchdown. 80.
First down in San Diego territory at the 47-yard line. Big draw. And Pennington going for 6. Deep down the field, and it's caught by Santana